Welcome inside University Stadium, where the number 3 Laurier Golden Hawks are taking on the number 9 Windsor Lancers in today's OUA semifinal football matchup. Jack Moore and Jason Hagholm along with you. And Jason, a massive game here today. The winner to the Yates Cup. Windsor trying to get to their first Yates Cup since 1975. The Laurier Golden Hawks trying to get back to the Yates Cup for the first time since 2017. And the two teams took different paths to get here. Windsor hosted the Carleton Ravens last week, and they held on for a 14-11 victory.
That they did. They looked really impressive late. They had to make a quarterback change there. Danny Skelton got the yank. Nick Dimvoski came on in, and he threw the go-ahead touchdown as the Windsor Lancers were able to hold on, but they couldn't get their running game going. It was a very tight defensive game, and as they say, offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships, and Windsor proved a good point of that to get to this OUA semifinal here against Laurier.
Yeah, the Windsor Lancers putting on a good performance against Tristan Lefebvre and the Carleton Ravens, who look like a strong up-and-coming team, but their season comes to an end at University Stadium last Saturday. The Laurier Golden Hawks put a beat down on the Waterloo Warriors by the tune of 16-9-0, and they were led by the eventual U Sports Offensive Player in the Week, Taylor Elgersma, who went 20 of 22 for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also added 3 rushing touchdowns in the game, more passing touchdowns than incompletions last week. And the Golden Hawks are trying to get more of the same out of their third-year quarterback, who is an OUA MVP favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor Elgersma was sensational. 20 of 22 for almost 91% completion percentage. You don't see those numbers that often, and he was in the driver's seat, controlling the game, checking down receivers, finding the open receivers, and when he needed to, he'd find the end zone and call his own number himself. The offense was clicking on all cylinders, and as well, Laurier did also establish the run with getting Tannen Elms his best performance of the season, rushing for 155 yards.
If you're the Windsor Lancers, what's your game plan coming into today's contest?
I think you got to find a way to bring the pressure. You lead the OUA in sacks overall. You got to put pressure on Taylor Elgersma, make him uncomfortable, make him not be able to set up and check down and look at receivers. If you don't do that, it could be a long afternoon.
Windsor will kick off to the Laurier Golden Hawks to start this one. Feels like 9 degrees in Waterloo. The wind going 9 kilometers an hour from right to left across your screen. That's west to east, with up to 16 kilometer an hour wind gusts in this one. No precipitation expected. It's a beautiful day for OUA semifinal football. The winner going to the Yates Cup next weekend, where they will take on either the Western Mustangs or the Queens Gales, who are playing in the other OUA semifinal right now at Western Alumni Field. Jackson Stebbings and Tyreek Quayson deep to return for the Laurier Golden Hawks, as the OUA semifinal matchup is about to get underway. James Parker to kick this one off. And we're underway from University Stadium. It will be Tyreek Quayson from his own 11. Quayson gets a block and cuts upfield, and he gets across the 30. And the U Sports Offensive Player of the Week, the 8-time Laurier Offensive Player of the Week this season in 9 games, Taylor Elgersma, and the offense comes out, Jason.
Yeah, they do, and they're looking to continue the great success they had last week in the OUA quarterfinals against the Waterloo Warriors and move the football, put points up on the board, and really make Windsor have to beat them through the air.
Move to Jelly was the U Sports Defensive Player of the Week for the Windsor Lancers. His 1st and 10. That pass for Jace Atkinson falls incomplete, just out of his reach, and it will be 2nd and 10 for the Hawks on their first drive of the game.
Well, that's something we weren't used to seeing last week, an incompletion. Only 2, as we mentioned before, for Taylor Elgersma, and just out of the fingertips that time for Jace Atkinson.
2nd and 10 with Quentin Scott in the backfield. Ethan Jordan, Jace Atkinson, Laomi Ojatalayo to the right. Raiden Thorne to the left of Elgersma. Fires this one off. Atkinson makes the catch across the 45. Gain of 14 and a first down for the Hawks.
Well, that just shows the trust that Taylor Elgersma has in a receiver like Jace Atkinson. Doesn't make the easy catch out in the flats. Instead, bombs it through a little bit of coverage there, sliding to make the catch as Atkinson. First down, Laurier.
Tight window there for Taylor Elgersma, but able to complete it. 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Ryan Spate, the tight end, to Elgersma's left. They'll hand off to Quentin Scott. Bounces it to the outside, and Scott gets across the 50. A gain of 5 will bring up 2nd and medium.
Yeah, and Obviously, we've seen what Quentin Scott can do coming out of the backfield, trying to turn the corner, and once again, it's another second and medium here for Laurier. They've had so much success with this season, managing these 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5 scenarios.
12 touches last week for 158 yards and 2 total touchdowns, 90 yards on the ground. 2nd and 4 here for Elgersma. Over the middle, Atkinson makes the catch again, and that's another first down for the Hawks. So early on, Taylor Elgersma likes Jace Atkinson in this one. The gain of 9 moves the sticks once again, and Laurier's into Windsor territory.
And Jace Atkins is a guy that's really developed here this year, really had some breakthrough performances, especially in the first regular season game against Waterloo, stepping up, and he's now been the go-to guy early, all 3 passes coming his way.
You think about where he was week 1 against the Queens Gales to where he is as one of the favorite targets for Taylor Elgersma, and he's got plenty of favorite targets on this roster. Play action, swings it out to Raiden Thorne. Thorne makes the catch, drives forward, will pick up a first down, and move the sticks once again on the gain of 12.
What a job by Raiden Thorne on that catch. Not only showing he's a finesse receiver, but he put the shoulder into his man, pick up that extra bit of yards, and more importantly, move the sticks. Another Laurier first down as this Golden Hawk offense is finding the rhythm that they have all season long.
1st and 10 from the Windsor 38-yard line for Taylor Elgersma and the Golden Hawk offense. Nathan Brooks is the tight end to Elgersma's left. Naomi Ojatalayo, the receiver, to the far right. Play action to Scott. Elgersma with time. Over the middle for Ethan Jordan. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Laurier.
Oh, what a job there by Taylor Elgersma. He looked one way where Raiden Thorne was. That was covered, and he puts a perfect ball over the secondary of the Windsor defenders right into the hands of Ethan Jordan, his go-to player. But actually, it looks like it may come back.
After the play, objectionable conduct, so the touchdown is good. It was against the Golden Hawks, but Laurier finds the end zone just 2 minutes, 31 seconds into quarter number 1. A 38-yard strike from Taylor Elgersma to Ethan Jordan left open over the middle. And we talk about the plethora of weapons that the Golden Hawks have. Jace Atkinson starts to make some catches. You key on him. Oh, well, you got Raiden Thorne and Ethan Jordan making back-to-back catches for a combined 50 yards. And the Golden Hawks find the end zone on their first drive of the game. So Elgersma is perfect through the air after that opening incompletion. Dawson Hodge on to complete the extra point. Jackson Stebbings puts it on the tee on the snap from Jason McGugan. And it's a 7-0 lead for the Golden Hawks on that Ethan Jordan touchdown, brought to you by Waterloo Brewing.
And why not? You know, we talk about those weapons, as you said, Jace Atkinson, Raiden Thorne, but his favorite target is Ethan Jordan. Windsor, they cannot find a way to let Ethan Jordan get that open down the field. It was a perfect ball delivered as well from Taylor Elgersma right in the bucket for Ethan Jordan. He just walks into the end zone, and a great opening drive for the Golden Hawks is complete. And that's something I don't think Windsor was expecting. They were amped up. They were ready to go. But I don't think they expected the Golden Hawks to really give them a big punch in the mouth like that early.
Especially after that first incompletion, you have them in 2nd and 10, and then one Quinn Scott rush for 5 yards, but Taylor Elgersma strong through the air afterwards. Jace Atkinson a couple of times, Raiden Thorne, Ethan Jordan all getting touches early in this game. And the Golden Hawks striking early. The objectionable conduct penalty after the touchdown will force this kickoff back to the 35-yard line. So Dawson Hodge will boot this one away. Waby Mumbo and Javoni Cunningham deep to return for the Windsor Lancers. Offense hasn't touched the field, but they already see themselves down a 7-0 hole. Golden Hawks offense, who exploded last weekend for 69 points against the Waterloo Warriors in the quarterfinal. Dawson Hodge boots this one away to Waby Mumbo. Corrals it at his own 20. Waby Mumbo has a crease, tries to bounce it outside, gets a block. Waby Mumbo down the sideline and gets forced out of bounds by Malik Cote and Dawson Hodge. And Windsor gets good field positioning to start this drive at the Laurier 50.
Well, Dawson Hodge wanted to kick it away there from Javoni Cunningham, who may be the more lethal special teams player from Windsor. But good job there by Waby Mumbo to follow his blockers, take the corner, and bring this ball to midfield. Excellent field position for the Lancers to start their opening drive.
So Windsor listed Danny Skelton as their starting quarterback on the depth chart, but it's Nick Domoski coming onto the field to start the game for the Windsor Lancers. Domoski came in relief of Skelton last week, who threw 3 interceptions. And Demoski will hand this one off on first down to Joey Zorn, who rumbles his way for a gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Demoski was 4 of 5 last week for 89 yards, and you mentioned that 25-yard touchdown pass at the end of the game to get Windsor the lead and eventually the win against the Carleton Ravens.
Well, we may be a little surprised when we saw Danny Skelton on the depth chart to start, but Nick Demovsky gets the nod, and why not? He had the hot hand late. You want to ride that hot hand here into the OUA semifinals against this red-hot Golden Hawk squad.
Danny Skelton standing on the Windsor sideline with no helmet on, so it doesn't seem like they'll be rotating at all. This is Demovsky's game. In the pocket, over the middle, and that is caught! And then laid out by Nico McCarthy. Benjamin McJanet making the catch, and he's down at the 25-yard line. And the Windsor coaching staff wanting a penalty on the play, but they won't get one.
Yeah, and McJanet is down as the trainer on the Windsor sideline ran out early. The Windsor coaching staff screaming at the officials on the sideline. They want a penalty. And there may be a case there. Such a bang-bang play. But right now, no laundry on the field.
J.P. Cercelli with an emphatic conversation with the officials on the near sideline. So Nick Demovsky throws a 25-yard completion, but McJanet makes the catch and gets hit hard by Nico McCarthy over the middle and is being tended to now by the Windsor training staff.
And they ran out in a hurry. They realized this was a serious situation. And they're looking at McJanet as the whole coaching staff's now going to come over here to McJanet after he made that completion and took that huge hit from the free safety, Nico McCarthy.
J.P. Cercelli making his way onto the field to check on his receiver. Had a loud conversation with the officials down on the sideline, but then quickly had to turn around to his bench to get them to settle down. They don't want to put themselves in a position where they're taking yardage back for a penalty after the fact.
Yeah, that's obviously something to take into consideration. Right now, everyone is concerned about the health and safety here of Benjamin McJanet. Well, it did look like he was moving his limbs, which is good. But the way they're looking at, don't want to speculate, but they're looking in the head and neck area here of McJanet.
11 catches in the regular season for McJanet for 173 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had a catch last week for 6 yards. It's the first catch of the game from Demovsky over the middle and then hit hard down to the turf. So he's still being checked on by the training staff. Jamie Carlson out on the field as well, the athletic therapist for the Golden Hawks.
And it looks like he's got to a seated position here, which is good. Good to see McJanet up to a seated position.
We're going to step aside on OUA TV until we get some more movement from Benjamin McJanet. 7-0 Laurier leading Windsor. Just 3 minutes, 34 seconds into the first quarter. So Benjamin McJanet walking off the field under his own power after getting hit by Nico McCarthy. Gain of 25 yards for the Windsor Lancers. Sorry, 21 yards on the gain on 2nd and medium. And Nick Demovsky starts the game 1 for 1. And the Windsor Lancers with a 1st and 10 from the Laurier 25.
Well, we were talking off air, Jack, about Danny Skelton having to try to go toe-to-toe. It's not Danny Skelton now, it's Nick Demovsky. But that looks to be what Windsor wants to do. They want to go toe-to-toe with Laurier through the air.
Demovsky in shotgun on 1st and 10 with Chris John in at running back. And JP Cercelli has to call timeout here before the snap. So it'll be a 1st and 10 on the Laurier 25 for the Lancers.
Yeah, JP Cercelli must have not liked something. Just wants to get the right play call here because Windsor knows they're having a good drive so far. They want to cap it off with 6 points and with a touchdown here. So you want the right personnel, you want the right play call. And as well got a good lay of the land of what the defense was presenting from the Golden Hawks.
Joey Zorn had a run of 4 yards on 1st down. Benjamin McJanet with a catch for 21. Sitting on the Lancers bench, but seems to be in good spirits with Danny Skelton standing beside him and checking on him. And again, that was the big story. Danny Skelton leads this team in the regular season to a 6-2 record. Only losses to Laurier and Western, the number 1 and number 3 ranked teams in the country. And then he struggles in the quarterfinal, and they throw in Domovsky, who gets the start here in the semifinal against the Golden Hawks. Handoff to Chris John. He gets swallowed up by Ethan Gregorczyk and Chisenham and Senham. The 18-year-old middle linebacker for the Golden Hawks forces a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Windsor tried to catch Laurier maybe a little asleep with a draw play, but the Golden Hawks defensive line and linebacker Ethan Gregorczyk, when Chisenham and Senham, they were not afraid and they were not fooled at all. They make the tackle easily, and actually a loss of 1 for Chris John in this Windsor offense.
Clubhouse favorite for the OUA Rookie of the Year, Ethan Gregorczyk. Physically the biggest linebacker on the Golden Hawks roster at 6'3", 230.
And he's only going to get bigger.
Just 18 years old out of Curtis, Ontario. Play action, Domovsky off to his right. Fires that one off, and it's caught and then chopped down by Chris Haggart. So a minimal gain here for the Lancers. The catch was made by Liam Talbot, and they'll bring on their field goal unit, Windsor will, to put some points on the board here in the early going of the 1st quarter.
Well, the drive stalls out, but they want to find a way to pick up some points, do the Lancers, so they'll bring out Brady Lidster for the field goal attempt here. He was 2 for 3 last week.
Lidster was the OUA Special Teams Player of the Week last week. Like you mentioned, 2 of 3 in the field goal game. Long of 34, and then as that one is up and good from 28 yards. And Brady Lidster gets the Windsor Lancers on the board, so a big return by Waby Mumbo gets them down to the 50. Couple big plays for the Lancers, and they get on the board here in quarter number 1. Golden Hawks will take over at their own 35-yard line, up 7-3.
As well, it just shows how important penalties are. That unsportsmanlike penalty after the touchdown for Ethan Jordan made Dawsonage have to kick that, not where he'd want to normally set up, so extra yardage as well, and great return from Mumbo. Starts off that great drive where the Lancers get the field goal from Brady Laurier.
Elgersma in shotgun, hands it off to Quentin Scott, breaks the tackle and bounces to the outside. He'll pick up a 1st down and step out at the Laurier 47-yard line. Gain of 13. The Golden Hawks move the sticks once again.
Good run again that time from Quentin Scott, bouncing it to the opposite end of the field and makes a couple men miss, bounces off some tackles and picks up the sticks. So Laurier's really done a good job early on establishing the run.
After the early incompletion intended for Jace Atkinson, Elgersma finished the first drive 4 of 4 for 73 yards and a touchdown. Now Ethan Jordan on the jet screen. Swings it to the outside, drives up to midfield. Gain of 7 yards will bring up 2nd and 3 for the Hawks.
Well, you want to see Ethan Jordan use off his speed. We saw him get downfield for the touchdown on the opening drive for the Golden Hawks, but use him on the jet. Nice little run there, picks up almost a 1st down, 2nd and 2 coming up here for Laurier.
Yeah, they mark him up at the 55. Taylor Elgersma in shotgun with 3 receivers to his right, one of them Sebastian Parasolitis, who motions in, and Quentin Scott in at running back as the Golden Hawks reset. Handoff to Scott up the middle, drives forward and will pick up a 1st down.
Yeah, good. Doing what he needed to do there was Quentin Scott, just plunge forward and pick up the 2 yards needed. It's a 1st down here for Laurier, and Quentin Scott's good start on the ground continues.
He's got up to 3 carries for 22 yards in the game for the Golden Hawks, long of 13. First and 10 from the Windsor 53-yard line. So this Golden Hawk offense moving the ball effectively in their first drive and a half of this contest. Play action to Nelms, swung out to Raiden Thorne. Makes the catch, gets a block from Laomi Ojatalayo and gains 5. Second and medium coming up for the Hawks.
Yeah, Laurier's trying to get their receivers out in any open space and let them use their speed. We saw it on the jet sweep with Jordan, and then there's the pass and off to Raiden Thorne, who tried to put on the speed, but good job by Windsor to wrap him up. But it's a second and medium again here for Laurier, 2nd and 5.
Tanner Nelms stays in at running back. 4 receivers to the right of Elgersma, tight end to the left. Elgersma back to pass. Steps up over the middle for Atkinson, and that falls incomplete. Elgersma wanting a hold on the Windsor defensive back in coverage, but won't get one, and Dawson Hodge will have to punt this one away for the Hawks.
Yeah, Elgersma felt that Atkinson was held up a little bit, but won't get the call that he wants, and it'll be Laurier having to punt this away for the first time this afternoon, and only had a handful of punts last week against Waterloo.
Dawson Hodge to boot this one away from the Windsor 48-yard line. Javoni Cunningham makes the catch on the sideline at his own 15. So Dawson Hodge pins Windsor inside their own 20. And a long field now for Domovsky in this Windsor offense.
Well, you obviously know that the Golden Hawks, they respect what Javoni Cunningham can bring to the table as a special teamer and a punt returner. Angled that one on the outside where he caught to catch it out of bounds. Ball will be spotted at the Windsor 15 where Nick Domovsky leads out this Windsor offense for their second drive of the afternoon.
Last time Windsor was here a couple weeks ago, Joey Zorn was held to 6 carries for 9 yards. Has 1 carry for 4. He's back in the backfield with Domovsky behind him, or in front of him, in at quarterback. And 1st and 10 for the Lancers from their own 15. Play action to Zorn. Domovsky taking a shot down the field, and it falls incomplete. Shane Johnson, intended receiver for the Lancers.
I like that play call. I like the aggressiveness here from Windsor, trying to take their shots and hit Shane Johnson on that go route. Unfortunately, Domovsky just overthrew him a tad, incomplete. It'll be 2nd down, but I do respect how fearless right now Windsor is. They're not afraid of this moment, being in the semifinals here against Laurier on their field. They're trying to go for it.
Lancers finished the regular season at 6-2, with their only losses against Windsor, or against Western and Laurier. Golden Hawks' only loss in the regular season, a Week 9 matchup with the Western Mustangs. They lost 33-30. Swing pass is complete to the flat. Picked up by Liam Talbot. Gets a block and bounces it to the outside. He'll pick up a 1st down, but a flag on the play, and this one might be coming back.
Yeah, it seems like there was a hold there on the Windsor offense, but we'll wait for Kevin Mickelborough to make this official, and that would negate a nice catch and run for the Lancers.
Might be after yards gained for the Lancers. And it was not prior to yards gained. So they'll put this one back on the 8-yard line. 2nd and long here for the Windsor Lancers after a big play taken off the board from Liam Talbot.
Yeah, and penalties were an issue last week for Windsor. They had 13 penalties for 120 yards. They know they got to be very disciplined here against Laurier. Had 11 penalties in that regular season matchup back in Week 8, and that's, in effect, what did cost them that game when they lost 40-7 to the Golden Hawks.
2nd and 17 for the Windsor Lancers. Inside their own 10, Domovsky, quarterback keeper up the middle. Nick Domovsky sidesteps a defender and gets chopped down just shy of the 25. He'll be a yard short of the line to gain on a 16-yard run from the Windsor quarterback. And now decision time here for J.P. Cercelli.
Looks like the Lancers, they'll punt this one away as field position isn't in their favor. But nice job by Domovsky to call his own number and nearly pick up the 1st down. Needed 17 and got 16.
Ethan Jordan back to return for the Golden Hawks after Domovsky came up a yard short of the line to gain. 5.5 to go in the first quarter. 7-3, Laurier leading this one. Punt gets away, and Ethan Jordan will catch it at his own 45, and he caught it on the run. Gets a block. Ethan Jordan will step out of bounds inside the Windsor 45-yard line. So really good field positioning here for Taylor Elgersma and the Golden Hawks offense for drive number 3 in the contest, trying to put more points on the board, Jason.
That they are, and good punt return there from Ethan Jordan. As we have ourselves a in-game timeout, but yeah, good punt return from Ethan Jordan, and their Golden Hawks really trying to use him in any facet, obviously as the receiver, but coming in through jet sweeps and then on special teams with punt returns. He's such an elusive player, speedy player, and it just shows what Micah Falls and Todd Calloway, how much confidence they have him in this offense.
In the regular season, Ethan Jordan finished with 766 all-purpose yards in the 8 regular season games, second on the team behind only Quentin Scott, who had 772 on the ground, but another 151 through the air. So Ethan Jordan, one of the favorite targets for Taylor Elgersma. We've seen him use Chase Atkinson and Raiden Thorne so far in this game as well. Jordan with the touchdown catch for the Golden Hawks of 38 yards. And Laurier, who exploded offensively last week. Taylor Elgersma with 6 total touchdowns. He was the National Offensive Player of the Week. Really cementing a phenomenal regular season performance with a great performance in the quarterfinal. And sometimes you can get into those situations where you lose week 9, you don't get the bye. But for the Laurier Golden Hawks, they came out, they punched the 7 seed in the mouth, and they rode that momentum into a victory and into the OUA semifinal against the Windsor Lancers here at University Stadium. 1st and 10 from the Windsor 43 for Elgersma and the Laurier offense. 4 receivers to his left, tight end to his right. Elgersma, play action to Scott. Elgersma trying to get away from a Muzan. He throws it for Ojatalayo, and he can't make the catch.
Yeah, that's where the Lancers defense, they brought some pressure. They made Elgersma have to move his feet, scramble out of the pocket as he was looking to get it to Laomi Ojatalayo, but he couldn't hang on to it. So second incompletion here for Elgersma, which matches his total in incompletions from last week in the OUA quarterfinals against Waterloo.
3rd incompletion of the day. He had one on 2nd and 5 on the last drive. Elgersma, 2nd and 10 here. Quentin Scott in the backfield. Back to pass. Elgersma steps up, fires this one off. Ojatalayo makes the catch, and he is close to the line to gain. He might be a yard short, but a hold against the Golden Hawks. He was right at the line to gain. So J.P. Cercelli with a decision. I'd imagine he'd want to push Laurier back, because even if he declines the penalty, it would allow Dawson Hodge to attempt a field goal. So it is accepted, and 2nd and 20 here for the Hawks from their opponent's 53-yard line. So Laurier's offense trying to find something here to pick up some yardage.
Yeah, it's a drive that hasn't had much momentum going. The incompletion to Ojatalayo, the penalty there after Ojatalayo makes the completion and maybe had the first down. Instead, needs 10 extra yards, 2nd and 20.
3 running backs in for Laurier. They go play action. Elgersma over the middle for Thorne, makes the catch and picks up the first down inside the Windsor 25. Look at the poise from Taylor Elgersma, stepping up in the pocket and finding Raiden Thorne over the middle of the field.
Just a beautiful job by Taylor Elgersma, as you said, Jack. Steps up in the pocket, feels the pressure, avoids it, and is able to hit Raiden Thorne on that slant route for a huge Golden Hawk first down.
Laurier keeping that 3 running back formation on the field. Elgersma hands off to Quentin Scott, bounces to the outside. Scott gets taken down after he picks up a first down. As the ball popped loose at the end of the play, flag down in the Laurier backfield, but Windsor jumps on the ball. So we'll await the call from Kevin Mickelbro, but Windsor might take over at their own 9-yard line here.
And we will wait for this call here from Kevin Mickelbro.
Holding against the Golden Hawks, penalty declined, and it's a first down, Windsor. So Quentin Scott picked up the first down, but fumbled the ball at the end of the play, and Windsor will take over at their own 10.
First turnover of the game goes against the Golden Hawks, a very normally sure-handed offense, and Quentin Scott puts that on the ground. Huge break for the Lancer defense. They force a turnover and get the ball back. They'll pin deep in their own at their own 10.
Under 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 1, 7-3. Laurier leading the Windsor Lancers in this OUA semifinal. First and 10 from their own 10 for Domofsky. Hands this one off. Swaby Mumbo breaks a couple tackles before being chopped down just across the line to gain. Jahari Hastings making the play for Laurier on the gain of 1. 2nd and 9 here for Windsor.
Well, maybe Mumbo, he ran a lot harder than most would to pick up 2 yards. He had to spin away from a couple Golden Hawk defenders. Picks up the 2 yards, 2nd and 9 here for Windsor.
Second and long here for Domofsky in this Windsor offense. Domofsky 2 of 3 for 24 yards in the game, long of 21. He'll drop back to pass. Over the middle, and that is intercepted by Nico McCarthy. Bounces it to the sideline, and Laurier has 1st and 10 at the Windsor 15.
Well, what a way for your defense to bail out your offense from putting the ball on the ground with Quentin Scott and then Nico McCarthy. He's made his presence felt in this game, laid a big hit earlier on in there. A huge interception for McCarthy. The Golden Hawks in the red zone already looking to extend their lead.
So a massive swing after Windsor forced a turnover and didn't allow points on the board. Nico McCarthy, the 5th-year safety, makes the play over the middle, and Taylor Elgersma has 1st and 10 from the Windsor 15. Raiden Thorne to his right, 3 receivers to his left. Elgersma to pass. He'll throw to the end zone for Atkinson. That is intercepted! Robert Springer goes up and gets it and takes it away for the Lancers.
Well, that was a dangerous throw there by Elgersma. He threw it into double coverage trying to hit the corner of the end zone, and Springer was wise to it, got up in the air, showed off his athletic ability, and picks off Elgersma, and Windsor gets a turnover back. 2 turnovers in quick succession for the Golden Hawks.
Robert Springer was the DB who got hurled by Laomi Ojatalayo in Week 8 here at University Stadium. Makes the interception in the end zone as Taylor Elgersma was looking for Jace Atkinson on the corner route. And the Windsor Lancers get it right back, this time at their own 20. 1st and 10 for Nick Domofsky with Joey Zorn in the backfield. Talbot motions in. Hand off to Zorn up the middle. He'll drive forward before being taken down by Duncan Noddy. Gain of 15 and a 1st down for the Lancers.
Well, that's the Joey Zorn we're used to seeing. The regular season matchup, as you said before, Jack, 6 carries for 9 yards. Really struggled to run the football last week in the OUA quarterfinals against Carleton, but follows his blockers, puts on the burst, picks up a 1st down for Windsor.
Gain of 16 make it, so 1st and 10 from their own 36 for the Lancers and Nick Domofsky. Each quarterback with an interception here in quarter number 1, less than 90 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Play action to Zorn. Domofsky will keep it himself, and he'll get chopped down up at the 45 on a gain of 9, so 2nd and 1 coming up for the Lancers.
And you're seeing the difference that what Nick Domofsky brings to the table. He's not afraid to call his own number, scramble, and really have to keep this Laurier defense head on a swivel as Domofsky nearly picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 1 coming up for Windsor.
Yeah, 2nd and inches here. They originally marked him down at the 45-yard line, and then they spotted the ball forward at the 46 before moving it back to the 45 and a half. Kevin Mickelbro motioned for a 1st down, and now they'll move the sticks. The ball was behind the line to gain, and they'll re-spot it again.
A little disagreement there from the officials, but Kevin Mickelpearl says it's a first down, and that's what Windsor will get. You don't see that too often.
Interesting. 1st and 10 from their own 46 for the Windsor Lancers. 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Domovsky hands off to Zorn. Cuts to the outside, forced back in by Gregorczyk, and he gets swallowed up by a flock of Hawks. Brandon Omanua first on scene for Laurier on the gain of 2 for Joey Zorn. And 2nd and long here for Windsor as Luke Brubaker checks into the game for the Hawks.
Yeah, that's a big player coming back in. Didn't get the start. I know he's been dealing with an injury throughout the end of the regular season here into the postseason. But Luke Brubaker, he can wreak havoc on that D-line for the Golden Hawks.
Trying to get home on 2nd and long. Barring a defensive penalty, this will be the last play of quarter number 1. 7-3, Laurier leading the Windsor Lancers in this OUA semifinal. Domovsky with Chris John in the backfield. Drops back to pass, has pressure, and he'll go down! Chris Haggart! A big sack, and that brings up 3rd and long for the Windsor Lancers.
Oh, Chris Haggart and that Laurier defense brought the house.
That marks the end of the first quarter. The Laurier Golden Hawks with a 7-3 lead on the Windsor Lancers. Windsor to punt when quarter number 2 begins. You're watching Laurier Golden Hawk playoff football on OUA TV. Quarter number 2 about to begin here at University Stadium. Windsor having to punt on 3rd and 16 after Chris Haggart with a big sack on Nick Domovsky on a 2nd and long play. So the Golden Hawks will get the football back up 7-3. Jack Moore, Jason Hagholm with you on OUA TV. This OUA semifinal. Crown Plaza out-of-town scoreboard. The Western Mustangs with a 10-7 lead on the Queens Gales after a pick 6 by Queens. This punt will bounce at the Laurier 37 before Ethan Jordan picks up. A flag on the play will be for no yards. So the Golden Hawks will get a few extra yards on the play, and Taylor Elgersma and the Laurier offense back onto the field here, Jason.
Yeah, we'll see how Elgersma can do shaking off that interception where they had excellent field position. He's been so composed and had so much solid play and head on his shoulder all season long. I expect him to bounce back well, but it's so rare to see him make a turnover this season.
5-yard, no yards penalty against the Windsor Lancers. So Laurier will start at their own 46-yard line. Started with really good field positioning here in this game so far. 7 points on the board on drive number 1. Raiden Thorne makes the catch, cuts up the far sideline, gets just shy of the line to gain. They'll mark him down 2 yards short. 2nd and 2 coming up for the Hawks.
Well, it's Raiden Thorne again, and Laurier is really using a lot of these quick release throws so that their receivers use their speed and push forward. And right now, Windsor doesn't have an answer to it. It's a 2nd and 1 coming up here for Laurier.
This is the second time in as many drives that the officials have spotted the ball about 1.5 yards short of where it's actually ended up. So 2nd and inches here for the Golden Hawks. Handoff to Quentin Scott up the middle. Drives forward and picks up the first down inside the Windsor 50. Down to the 48-yard line. Quentin Scott, low center of gravity, and keeps the pile moving.
Yeah, Quentin Scott carries a couple Lancer defenders, including Harrison Daly, the defensive back, with him for some extra yardage, but good bounce back as well from Quentin Scott after his last carry where he fumbled the football.
1st and 10 from the Windsor 48 for the Golden Hawks. Quentin Scott stays in the backfield. Elgersma in shotgun. He'll hand this one off to Scott, evades a defender and cuts it up the left hash as he gets down to the 40 on the gain of 8. 2nd and 2 coming up for the Golden Hawks, who's coming off the edge untouched was Jason Rashatzi, but he couldn't make the tackle in the Laurier backfield.
And that just shows the elusiveness from Quentin Scott as well. The size that he has on as Scott will head off, and bringing into the backfield now will be Tanner Nelms.
2nd and short for the Golden Hawks at the Windsor 40-yard line. Handoff to Nelms, bounces it to the outside. He'll pick up a first down and drive forward just shy of the 30 at the 31. Gain of 9, and the Golden Hawks keep moving the sticks here on this drive.
That's such a great run by one of the veterans on this Laurier offense from Tanner Nelms. Picked up the first down, stopped his feet to slow down the defenders and pick up some extra bit of yardage. Nice run there from Tanner Nelms.
First rush of the game for Tanner Nelms. And they'll go back to that 3 running back set with Bassick, Hayden, Nelms, and Quentin Scott behind Elgersma. Handoff to Scott up the middle. He'll drive forward. Mufta Jelly stood him up at the line of scrimmage. Gain of 3 will bring up 2nd and 7. So the U Sports Defensive Player of the Week making his presence felt on that one.
Yeah, Jelly showing why he is the reigning U Sports Defensive Player of the Week. He got up right in front of Scott, wrapped him up, and let him have nowhere to go as much as Scott tried to drive forward.
2nd and 7 here for the Hawks. Elgersma in shotgun with Scott. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Elgersma back to pass. Over the middle, intercepted again! 2nd interception by Elgersma as Maceo Christmas takes it away.
Well, Merry Christmas for the Windsor Lancers. 3rd turnover for the Golden Hawks. 2nd interception for Elgersma as he threw that one right down the middle looking for Atkinson again. But the Lancers with the pick. Christmas gets it. And once again, another Golden Hawk drive stalls thanks to a turnover.
2nd interception thrown by Elgersma inside the Windsor 30-yard line. Golden Hawks still leading this one 7-3. 11.5 minutes to go in the first half. Nick Domofsky back on the field with Joey Zorn as they take over 1st and 10 from their own 25. Zorn takes the handoff, and he gets met and gains maybe 2 to bring up 2nd and 8. Brandon Omanua making the shoestring tackle for the Hawks.
Yeah, it was great to see Brandon Omanua in there making the tackle. Big leader on this team as well. Getting to see Ife Onyeneminum getting the start as well. Remember, he left last week's quarterfinal game with an injury.
Went out on the first drive, and the Golden Hawk defensive leader in tackles, who was drafted in the 6th round by the Toronto Argonauts. Playing out there with Ethan Gregorczyk, 2nd and long for the Lancers from their own 27. Domofsky back to pass over the middle. Jahari Hastings got his hands on it. It falls incomplete, and that brings up 3rd and long here for the Lancers as Javoni Cunningham throwing his hands up as he walks back to the sideline, saying, I was open on the wide side of the field. But Windsor has to punt this one away, and Ethan Jordan deep to return for the Golden Hawks.
And Jahari Hastings probably think I should have had another interception, my 2nd here of the postseason. That one just hit him in the hands, falls incomplete, but the Lancers will punt it away.
Jahari Hastings, who's been a welcome addition after transferring from Simon Fraser University. Had 2 interceptions last week against the Waterloo Warriors. Low line drive punt Ethan Jordan picks it up at his own 45. He'll get up to midfield and step out of bounds. So once again, Laurier with good field positioning, but the Golden Hawks have to be able to put some more points on the board and create a bigger buffer in the lead department.
And as well, not turn the football. That's 3 drives in a row where the football has been turned over. 1 fumble from Quentin Scott and then 2 interceptions from Taylor Elgersman. This is an offense all season long that was so well at securing the football. Right now, maybe feeling the pressure a bit, and they've turned the football over on 3 straight drives, but we'll see how Elgersman bounces back.
He's 1st and 10 from his own 53-yard line. Handoff to Quentin Scott. Has to cut to the far sideline, and he'll get taken down in the backfield. A loss of a yard, and that'll bring up 2nd and 11 here for the Hawks.
So nowhere to go for Quentin Scott as he was trying to make the turn upfield, but Chase Reed makes the tackle for the Lancers, loss of 1.
Nothing up the middle. Quentin Scott tried to bounce it, and nothing on the sideline either. 2nd and long here for the Hawks. 4 receivers to the left of Elgersma. Raiden Thorne, the lone receiver, to the top of your screen. Elgersma to pass. Screen to Quentin Scott. He makes the catch. He has 3 Lancers right there, and he'll only gain 3 yards. They gave him an extra 2, so a gain of 5, but that'll bring up 3rd and 6, and Dawson Hodge will have to punt this one away.
That's good work by the Windsor secondary, covering up all the receivers. The screen was there, and Laurier took advantage of the screens last week in the quarterfinal against Waterloo, but Windsor, they didn't bite on that at all, just a gain of about 5 for Quentin Scott, and the Golden Hawks will punt.
Dawson Hodge gets his foot into this one. Javoni Cunningham catches it at the 21. No yards, so add an extra 15 onto this one. And the Windsor Lancers will take over, so some stout defensive play in this game. Elgersman throwing 2 interceptions, Nick Domofsky with 1, Quentin Scott with a fumble, and a couple punts on either side. More the speed that we were expecting in that Week 8 matchup we're getting here in the OUA semifinal.
It's almost like a boxing match where both teams, they've come up with some big blows, but each team's kind of looking for the knockout blow. That's really what it seems like Laurier is doing. They just can't get it, and Windsor's been able to evade those punches and keep this a 7-3 game.
They'll have 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. As Nick Domofsky back onto the field for the Lancers, with Waby Mumbo in the backfield. Mumbo had 4 carries for -2 yards last week against the Carleton Ravens. 2nd carry of the game for Mumbo gets chopped down by Duncan Noddy on the gain of 2, maybe 3. 2nd and long here for the Windsor Lancers.
Yeah, Brandon Omanua in there as well as Ife on Yemenem right there to rack up and slow down the process there for Waby Mumbo, just a gain of 2.
So we'll have another 2nd and long. The Golden Hawks winning on 1st down, which we talked about in Week 8 when the Windsor Lancers were here. They did that effectively early, but Windsor was able to find yards on 2nd and long. Laurier trying to force a punt here from the Windsor Lancers. 2nd and 8 for Nick Domofsky in shotgun. Drops back to pass. Domofsky pulls it down and takes off and runs. Nick Domofsky steps out of bounds at the 52-yard line. Big gain of 13 yards and a 1st down for the Windsor Lancers.
And the best rusher so far this afternoon for the Windsor Lancers is their quarterback, Nick Domofsky. He led after the 1st quarter with 26 yards, add another 13 onto that, and Domofsky just brings that extra versatility to this Windsor offense with the ability to scramble.
1st and 10 from their own 52 for the Windsor Lancers midway through quarter number 2. Trying to advance to the Yates Cup for the first time since 1975 when they beat the Laurier Golden Hawks. Handoff to Chris John. Gets up to midfield. The gain of 3 will bring up 2nd and 7.
So Chris John tries to plunge forward, but he meets that Laurier D line, just a gain of 3, and it'll be a 2nd and long scenario here for Windsor.
Personnel changes as John off to the sideline and Joey Zorn back into the game for the Windsor Lancers. 2nd and 7 from the midfield stripe here at University Stadium. Golden Hawks hosting an OUA semifinal for the first time since 2017. The last time they made it to the Yates Cup. Domovsky, handoff to Zorn. Drives forward and picks up a first down to the Laurier 45 before Nico McCarthy made the tackle. Gain of 10 yards for Joey Zorn, and he moves the sticks for the Windsor Lancers.
Yeah, Joey Zorn, he's come to play here on this Saturday afternoon. Great job by Zorn, followed his blockers, and when it looked like his progress was done, just scorched through to pick up that extra bit of yardage to move the chains for the Lancers.
Nick Domovsky on 1st and 10 from the Laurier 45. Windsor starting to put a drive together here. Domovsky in shotgun. Play action, keeps it himself on the quarterback keeper and drives forward across the 40. Gain of 6 yards, brings up 2nd and 4. So they're comfortable with running Nick Domovsky in this game. And really unknown who is going to be the starter here for the Windsor Lancers coming into this one after the quarterback change last weekend when Danny Skelton was pulled midway through the 3rd quarter. But Domovsky can run. The Golden Hawks have to make those adjustments defensively for defensive coordinator Ron Van Moorkirk.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if maybe they get a spy in on Domovsky because his ability to scramble has kept this Laurier defense honest.
2nd and 4 here for the Windsor Lancers. Line to gain is the 35. Domovsky to pass. Fires this one down the field, and Malik Cote can't make the catch. Makes the play on the underthrown ball, and Justin Amoa did a good job of playing defense for the Windsor Lancers. And 3rd and 4 from the Laurier from the Laurier 39. This would be a 46-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, that was maybe a dangerous ball there from Domovsky as Malik Cote Azor was right on the receiver and nearly had the interception. But Windsor will punt it away here with James Parker.
Small wind here at University Stadium in the face of the Lancers. Again, this would be a 46-yard attempt as this is an onside punt here from the Windsor Lancers, and Laurier picks it up. So a great job, a no yards flag as Tanner Nelms jumps on the ball. So add an extra 5, and Laurier will start at their own 37. So that punt will net just 2 yards for the Windsor Lancers.
Well, it was a heads-up play there by Windsor trying to maybe get Laurier sleeping, but the Golden Hawks, they were prepared for it. They weren't fooled by this as they recover that punt.
So the Canadian football fans watching wondering about the Montreal Alouettes and their onside punts. In university football, the ball has to get past the line to gain in order to be recovered on the onside play. It's not past the line of scrimmage to pick up the first down. So Tanner Nelms with a heads-up play to pick that one up and fall on it, pick up the extra 5 yards on the no yards penalty against the Windsor Lancers. Now, the other note of that, if the onside player for Windsor had recovered the ball and they had been inside the 5-yard halo, it still would have been Laurier ball and add on the extra 5 yards for the no yards penalty. So even if Windsor had have recovered that ball, it would have been Laurier ball from their own 35. They punted on their last drive. And the Golden Hawks trying to put something on the board here and give their defense a break on the sideline after Windsor put a drive together, but it resulted in a punt. So Taylor Elgersma comes back onto the field for the Golden Hawks with Quentin Scott in the backfield. 3 receivers to his right is Kevin Mickelbro, veteran official in the OUA. Will get things started. Double tight formation for the Hawks. And this offense that exploded last week has been held at bay for the most part outside of that first drive of the game. On the 38-yard Ethan Jordan touchdown catch. Play action to Scott. Raiden Thorne on the far side. He'll get taken down in the backfield. Harrison Daly making the tackle. Loss of 3, 2nd and 13 for the Hawks.
Yeah, Harrison Daly read that play, and this Windsor defense, I think, is starting to realize that Laurier, they want to get the receivers those short reception yards to let them use their speed to bring it upfield, and Harrison Daly wasn't fooled. Loss of 2 for Laurier.
So Thorne makes the catch, but nowhere to go with it after Daly made the tackle. 2nd and long here for the Hawks from their own 33. U Sports Offensive Player of the Week, Taylor Elgersma in shotgun. Elgersma to pass, steps up in the pocket, over the middle for Ojatalayo, and it gets knocked down. Great defensive play by Istvan Asibo-Dodzi. 3rd and long for the Hawks.
A great play by Asibo-Dodzi, all one-on-one there with Ojatalayo, Laomi Ojatalayo, and he uses his size a lot of the time, but that didn't work out, and it's a quick 2-and-out for the Golden Hawks.
Dawson Hodge to boot this one away, and a high spiraling punt will force Javoni Cunningham to catch it at his own 30. He'll get wrapped up and taken down. Jason McGugan on scene for the Hawks. Return of 2 yards for Javoni Cunningham, and Domofsky will take over at his own 32.
That's a great punt coverage by Laurier. We know how deadly Javoni Cunningham is. For him to just pick up 2 yards, real impressive work, and especially as well, making the tackle, the long snapper, as you said, Jack, in Jason McGugan.
Taylor Elgersma just has 1 completion for 1 yard in this second quarter, with 3:45 to go in quarter number 2. Sorry, 2 completions for -1 yards in this second quarter. As Domofsky back on the field with Chris John in at running back. 1st and 10 from their own 32. Play action to John. Domofsky's pass is caught, and Colby Ginn makes the catch. Gain of 5 yards will bring up 2nd and 5 for the Lancers.
Yeah, again, he was the leading receiver last week for Windsor. And finally, the Lancers find a way to go back to Ginn for a short gain. Make it a 2nd and medium, 2nd and 5 coming up on the completion from Domofsky.
So big 2nd down here as the Golden Hawks trying to get off the field, but Windsor with the full playbook available at 2nd and manageable. And JP Cercelli will call a timeout to talk things over with under 3 minutes to go in quarter number 2. And the number 3 Laurier Golden Hawks leading this one 7-3. They scored a touchdown on their opening drive. Taylor Elgersma's thrown 2 interceptions. Quentin Scott's put the ball on the turf. Laurier has gotten an interception back, but tightly contested defensive battle here at University Stadium, Jason.
Yeah, and I think that's what we knew we would get from Windsor. We knew their defense is one of the most up-to-snuff ones, not only just in the OUA, but in the country. And they've brought some good pressure on Laurier, but as well, Laurier really, they've been their own worst enemy. They've turned the football over 3 times, almost 4 on that last pass from Taylor Elgersma, and that's something we don't see. So I think the big question for that Laurier offense is how are they going to respond for something they really haven't experienced a lot this year, multiple turnovers in quick succession.
Out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the Crown Plaza KW. 10-10 Queens and Western. 10 minutes to go in the second quarter after a Mullen field goal for the Gales. So Western got out to a 10-0 lead, and Queens responds with 10 unanswered of their own. Domofsky on 2nd and 5, swings it out to Christopher John, makes the catch and picks up a first down, drives himself forward across the 50. Gain of 14 for the Lancers, and they move the sticks.
And Chris John put a shoulder right in there into Ethan Gregorczyk that threw him back for that extra bit of yardage. A nice job on the screen by the Lancers. First down, Windsor.
From their own 51. Chris John stays in at running back after the big catch and run of 14 yards. Domofsky in shotgun, hands it off to John. Cuts it up the middle and gets chopped down at the Laurier 52. A gain of 7 will bring up 2nd and 3.
And now Christopher John starting to get his carries in the backfield for Windsor as Windsor's trying to use that running by committee, and plus you add what Domofsky can do. It's a nice three-headed monster attack that Windsor can bring to the table on the ground.
Average 4.8 yards per carry in the regular season. Just 2 catches in the regular season for 19 yards, and he has a 14-yard reception here. 2nd and 3 for Nick Domofsky and the Windsor Lancers. Handoff to John. Cuts to his left. He gets met at the 50, drives forward, and Ethan Gregorczyk makes the tackle right at the line to gain. This should be a first down for Windsor.
I think that tackle there from Gregorczyk pushed John over the line to gain for the first down. But John as well, he kept moving his feet, pushing forward. And yeah, it will be a Windsor first down.
So the Lancers move the sticks. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Windsor trailing Laurier 7-3. Have put together some good drives, but they haven't been able to finish with the ball in the end zone yet today.
No, their one drive, they drove down the field. They had to settle for a field goal from Brady Lidster. They know a touchdown here would be huge, especially as the first half's coming to a close.
1st and 10, play action to Zorn. Domofsky over the middle, and that is caught by Ginn. Gain of 14 and a first down for the Lancers at the Laurier 35.
Good job on the play action there from Domofsky. Just that slight hesitation for the Laurier defense. They had to bite, and Ginn makes that catch into double coverage. First down, Windsor.
Abraham Odiasi running off the field. And Windsor moves early, so a flag flies. Chisenham and Senham was on a knee, and they weren't getting the whistle. The Lancers moved early, Evan Martin. And it'll be interesting to see what they call here. Laurier was calling for time as Chisenham and Senham was down. So I believe they are picking up the flag, and they're resetting the clock. Here is Chisenham and Senham down at the Laurier 33.
Yeah, I think that's the right call as well, as Senham went down before that flag was thrown, and they've added the 10 seconds back on the clock. It's 1:32 left in the half, and it's good to see Senham get up under his own power and jog off the field.
Jesse Wilkins, Brendan Omanua leading the way defensively for the Golden Hawks. Marcus Tenney in at defensive tackle with Amari Hastings as well. Luke Brubaker seems to be on a limited snap count here for the Golden Hawks. He was injured in that Thanksgiving matchup against the Ottawa GGs, which Laurier won 38-30. 1:15 to go in quarter number 2. Handoff to Zorn. Jahari Hastings makes the tackle on the gain of 3, and we'll get a flag fly. And I believe this is going to go against the Windsor Lancers as Aaron Tung threw Jesse Wilkins down to the field. That's after the play, so not only is it still second down, it's a 15-yard penalty. And Windsor is out of field goal range at the Laurier 47.
Yeah, that's a huge blow for what was a nice drive, what has still been a nice drive here for Windsor. But those are the penalties you just can't take, especially in how tight this game is.
2nd and long for the Windsor Lancers is Domofsky in shotgun with Joey Zorn. 2nd and 22 for Windsor. Domofsky being chased down, fires this one off, and it is caught! Evan Martin, 2 yards shy of the line to gain on the 20-yard reception. So they won't pick up the first down. They'll mark him down 4 yards short of the line to gain, and they'll bring on Brady Lidster to attempt the 36-yard field goal down the middle of the field to bring Windsor within 1.
Hit a 29-yarder earlier in this half. 35-yard field goal attempt for Lidster to bring the Lancers within 1.
Official spot is 36 for Lidster down the middle of the field. Gets it off, and it is good. So Windsor down by 1 with 39 seconds to go in the first half. Evan Martin with a big catch in traffic. Tristan Miller was there to make the play defensively for Laurier, but couldn't knock it down to the field. And the Windsor Lancers able to walk away with points. And the Golden Hawks will have a little bit of time, but not much, to try and put something on the board at the end of half number 1.
Now we'll see if this Golden Hawk offense can find their confidence that they've had all season long. Been a rough go here in quarter number 2 with just 39 seconds left in the half.
Elgersma in shotgun on the double tight, hands it off to Quentin Scott up the middle. Drives forward, picks up 10 and a first down. Takes just 5 seconds off the clock. That'll restart on Micklebro's whistle in.
That's a good run there from Quentin Scott. As Scott, that's his 9th carry. Give him 62 yards so far, but good speed burst from him.
Elgersma. Hand off to Scott again. Follows the block from Josh Reitveld. Gain of 7 yards will bring up 2nd and 3 for the Hawks. 24 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah, Scott once again, Laurier trying to use that run by committee here.
Laurier calls a timeout on 2nd and 3. You'd imagine from here, Dawson Hodge with a little bit of wind at his back would be good from around 55. So Laurier needs another 8 yards to get into Dawson Hodge field goal range at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and Hodge was 2 for 2 last week at field goals, but they were within 20 to 25 yards. So obviously we know Hodge had his struggles during the regular season, but he does have one of the best legs in all of the OUA, if not all OU sports.
Long on the season is 45. Laurier needs 8 yards to get into Hodge field goal range. 2nd and 3 from their own 54. Hand off to Scott. Follows his blocks, and he gets into Dawson Hodge field goal range, down at the Windsor 45.
Nice run there from Quentin Scott. Once again, a good play action from Taylor Elgersma as the Windsor defense bit, and Scott turned it upfield for a first down as Laurier takes their 2nd timeout.
Golden Hawks will take another timeout here. So this will make sure that the Golden Hawks will, barring an 18-second play, will be able to have one more at least at the end of the first half. 52 yards from here for Dawson Hodge. Again, season long is 45 where the ball's spotted, so to get to that point would be another 7 yards. This Golden Hawk offense has run the ball very effectively here on this last drive that's just been 21 seconds, that started at their own 35, and they're already in striking range here in the Windsor end.
As Taylor Elgersma will come back after getting the play call here from head coach Michael Faulds. Laurier wants to finish this half off with some points.
1st and 10 from the Windsor 45. Hand off to Tanner Nelms. Cuts it up the middle. He'll gain 2 before being taken down. Gets to the middle of the field, and this will be about a 50-yard field goal for Dawson Hodge. Laurier might run one more play, but they got to be careful. Clock's going to start when it's whistled in from Micklebro, which is now, and they have to get down before zero's on the clock. They get one untimed down. 8 seconds to go. Elgersma fires this one off. Ethan Jordan makes the catch. 3 seconds to go in the half. Steps out of bounds with 1 second to go in the first half.
Excellent execution.
This would be a 34-yard field goal. That was close.
A little too close for comfort, but the execution was there. Jordan had a lot of space to work with, wisely ran to the sideline and gets out of bounds with just 1 second left in the half as Dawson Hodge will come on here for the field goal attempt.
35 yards for Dawson Hodge, whose long is 45 on the season. He went 10 of 18 in the regular season. He's 2 of 2 in the playoffs. Waby Mumbo deep to return for the Windsor Lancers. Hodge. Jackson Stebbings the hold from 35 yards. Ball is up and no good, wide right. Waby Mumbo on the return. He'll get out of the end zone and take a knee. So the first half comes to an end with a Dawson Hodge missed 35-yard field goal. And the Laurier Golden Hawks have a 7-6 lead over the Windsor Lancers at halftime of this OUA semifinal.
Well, buckle up. It was an entertaining first half. The conclusion should be that much better. And who's going to punch their ticket to the Yates Cup? Will be Laurier for the first time since 2017, or it'll be Windsor for the first time since 1975.
We'll find out. Halftime brought to you by Waterloo Brewing. We'll be back in 15 minutes' time for the second half. You're watching Laurier Golden Hawk playoff football on OUA TV.
Where exceptional student athletes are born. Where records are broken. Where great plays are made. Where school colors ignite passion. Where champions prevail. Where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
Laurier has amazing research opportunities. I was able to execute a project of my own and then publish it in a medical journal. So now when I applied for my master's, I was able to apply with a publication already in my tool belt.
Realtor Mike in Team Milivik is your official real estate partner of Wilfrid Laurier Athletics and Recreation. Contact us for all your real estate needs.
What makes Laurier awesome is all the stuff you can do here, all the different events. You can get involved in so many different ways. There's so many different clubs on campus that you can get involved in, no matter what your interests are. It's great to be a Laurier Golden Hawk.
Welcome to the inaugural and the first of many diversity in sports conference. Congratulations to everybody for making this all become a reality.
I would highly recommend that people within the sport landscape in Canada definitely come out to this conference next year. There's so much good information that can be absorbed from here, and I think we can all be part of the change within Canada if we all actively engage in conversations like this.
Coming to the Diversity in Sports Conference was one of the best experiences I ever had after coming to Canada. The people I was able to meet, the people I was able to network with, the friends I made, and the learnings I gained were tremendous.
Sign up right now. Follow them on whatever social media platform they are. Email the OUA, contact them, contact whoever you need to contact, find out when they're getting ticket sales again, and get here. This is a must-do every single year. Everyone needs to be here. We need to pack this place and get at it again in 2024.
We don't have to work alone. We can do this together, and it shows by the numbers that are here that we want to improve and we want to make a better future for all Canadians. Doesn't matter where they're from, but that's the goal that we have. So thank you so much for coming to the inaugural conference, and dare I say, see you next year.
1, 2, 3.
Diversity in sports!
Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. An idea like turning a soccer player into a cyclist, or a goalie into a rower, or a kid who could run into one who can jump, throw, hurdle, vault, and run. RBC Training Ground finds and funds young Canadian athletes with Olympic potential. And their time has come.
Laurier has a wide range of programs as well as minors and options for students. I feel career ready because all the theories I'm learning in the classroom have really been taught to me and applied to real-world situations.
Realtor Mike is your touchdown connection for all your real estate needs. It's your wireless.
Realtor Mike and T. Milvick is your official real estate partner of Wilfrid Laurier Athletics and Recreation. Contact us for all your real estate needs.
Laurier sets students for success and a successful future.
Co-op, a field placement, extra education.
Not something that you just read in a textbook. You actually get to apply that in a lab setting, and that's really helpful for actually building your knowledge.
We were able to network with people that worked in the industry.
I'm already gaining the experience I need to start working right away as I get out of university.
Getting you set for half number 2 is the number 3 Laurier Golden Hawks, leading the Windsor Lancers 7-6 through the first half. Jack Moore, Jason Hagholm with you on OUA TV. And Jason, the Windsor Lancers get a field goal to put themselves down by 1. Dawson Hodge misses one at the end of the first half, and the Golden Hawks have their backs up against the wall here through a half of play in this OUA semifinal.
Yeah, Laurier, they're facing some adversity that they haven't felt in a long time this season, and give credit to Windsor. That was a great first half of football for a road team, holding this Laurier offense to just 1 touchdown, 7 points, and having 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions on Elgersma.
Dawson Hodge to boot this one away. Javoni Cunningham and Waby Mumbo deep to return, and Mumbo will take it at his own 15. Waby Mumbo up the middle of the field. Dawson Hodge trips him down at the 29. So that is where Nick Domofsky and this Windsor offense will come back onto the field. Domofsky 7 of 11 for 66 yards and an interception in half number 1. This Windsor Lancers team yet to find the end zone in this game. First and 10 from their own 29. First drive of half number 2 in this OUA semifinal. Winner to the Yates Cup. Domofsky down the field. Chris Haggart had it go through his hands. He was looking for Javoni Cunningham, but Haggart had it go through his hands and fall incomplete.
And that's one Haggart would want to have back. He read that play action from Domofsky to perfection, followed the eyes of Domofsky, had the ball hit him in the hands. He just couldn't bring it in. And instead of a turnover for Windsor, it's a 2nd down and 10.
2nd and long here for Windsor. Another first down win for the Hawks, but the Lancers trying to move the sticks and keep this drive alive. Domofsky to pass. Nick Domofsky over the middle, tipped and falls incomplete. Jahari Hastings knocked it down. Ethan Gregorczyk was in coverage, and the Golden Hawks force a 2 and out on drive 1 of half number 2.
It's a great start to the second half for this Laurier defense. Force a quick 2 and out. And once again, we sing the praises of him every week, but Jahari Hastings in great coverage there, breaks up the pass, and will force the Lancers to punt here with Brady Lidster.
Lidster on to boot it away. Ethan Jordan deep to return. Only touchdown for either team in this game was on Laurier's first offensive drive of the game. Ethan Jordan had a 38-yard touchdown catch. Lidster, high spiraling punt to the Laurier 40. Ethan Jordan trying to create some space, spins back to the sideline and will step out of bounds just shy of the 50. They'll mark him down at the 36, so a return of 8 will bring out Taylor Elgersma in this Laurier offense. Elgersma, 9 of 15 for 116 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions in this one. Trying to get something going offensively here against the Windsor defense that's played very well, Jason.
Yeah, very well from the Windsor defense, but we'll see if Elgersma can find his form that he's found to close out the season, especially last week against Waterloo in the quarterfinal.
Handoff to Quentin Scott. Drive forward, and a gain of 2 yards will bring up 2nd and 8. Laurier was down on their own 46, not their 36, as I had previously mentioned. So 2nd and 8 here for the Golden Hawks offense.
Oh, one thing Laurier's done a good job of this afternoon is they've run the football, especially with Quentin Scott. He's over 10 carries now, and he's been the lead back, though. He was snuffed out on that last carry, just gained a 2.
Elgersma, draw play to Scott, gets a block and heads upfield, and he'll pick up he'll be shy of the first down. Gain of 7 yards, and the Golden Hawks have 3rd and short from the midfield stripe, and decision time for Michael Folds, and like we've seen all season long, they'll bring in the heavy package and go for it here on 3rd and a yard.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me in a one-score game like this, especially where the football is. Laurier trusts their defense, but they trust their offense even more.
Taylor Elgersma under center. He'll keep it himself. He'll get driven forward by Parasolitas, and that's a first down for the Golden Hawks. As Taylor Elgersma, big 6'6", 220-pound frame, able to pick up the first down.
Huge first down there, and once again, as we've seen so far in the postseason, Elgersma using his big frame to plunge forward and got the nice little push from the fullback in Sebastian Parasolides to move the sticks.
So Laurier will bring it into Windsor territory. 1st and 10 from the Windsor 52. Handoff to Scott, waits for a hole to open, and he bounces it to the outside. He'll gain 4 yards, and that's 2nd and medium here as he hit the ground and the ball popped loose. 2nd and manageable here for the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, Windsor we're hoping that was another fumble on Scott, but the officials blew the play dead. Gain of 4 for Quentin Scott. Laurier will live to see another down.
2nd and manageable here for Taylor Elgersma. 2nd and 6. Tanner Nelms in a running back for the Golden Hawks with Scott on the sideline. Empty set now for Elgersma. Steps up in the pocket, nowhere to go. He'll drive forward but lose a yard. Windsor's defense gets home, and 3rd and long here for the Hawks.
Yeah, once again, Elgersma, as he's done all afternoon long, tried to step up in the pocket, but that time the pocket collapsed, nowhere for Elgersma to go. He is sacked for the first time today, and Windsor's defense has a nice stand.
Kaladia Muzin getting home, and the Windsor defensive line helping him take Elgersma down, who kept driving his feet, as Malik George taking a knee at his own 45-yard line. Dawson Hodge will have to punt this one away from the Windsor 48-yard line. And now you wonder if that missed 35-yard attempt at the end of the first half plays a factor in them not going for the 55-yard field goal here, as Hodge will boot this one away. Javoni Cunningham, the only returner here for the Windsor Lancers, and Hodge will bounce this one out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 25, so it's 1st and 10 for the Windsor Lancers at their own 25-yard line for Domofsky in the second drive of the second half for the Lancers.
Yeah, as you were talking about there, you wonder if Dawson Hodge missing that 35-yard field goal affects everything. It may as well, but I think Laurier, they trust what their defense can do. They looked excellent forcing that quick 2-and-out on the first drive of the second half for Windsor, and they're back on the field trying to do it again.
4.5 minutes gone in half number 2. 7-6, Laurier leading the Windsor Lancers. Chris John, the running back. Play action from Domofsky. Over the middle, and that is caught. Shane Johnson making the catch. Gaining 14 and a first down for the Windsor Lancers, and another contested catch made by this Windsor offense.
Yeah, that's a great release there from Domofsky, and able to hit Johnson, who gets his first catch of the game and moves the sticks as well. And just at the last second, Duncan Naughty saw where it was, just couldn't get his fingers on it.
1st and 10 for Windsor. They'll go with a hard count and reset. Domofsky in shotgun with Chris John, the running back. Handoff to John. Right up the middle, and he has room to go as Jahari Hastings chops him down at the Laurier 54.
And that's a lot of mass with a lot of speed coming downhill before the Golden Hawks are able to chop down Chris John. Nice running of the football here from Windsor, and they're starting to put a drive together.
Gain of 17 yards for Chris John. 1st and 10 now in Laurier territory here for the Windsor Lancers. They went 2-and-out on their opening drive of the second half. Now 1st and 10, they'll go to John again. Chisenham and Senham stands him up, and John stays on his feet and gains 4 as Jahari Hastings takes him down.
Yeah, tried to bounce off some tackles that time was John as Hastings comes in to make the tackle. That time the Golden Hawk defense snuffs out the run as John will check out.
2nd and 6 here for the Windsor Lancers at the Laurier 50. Two field goals in the game for the Lancers so far. But they're looking to put the ball in the end zone on this drive. Handoff to Joey Zorn. Gets stuffed 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. He'll go down about 2 or 3 yards short, and a decision to be made by J.P. Cercelli.
Yeah, well,
be 3rd and 2.
It's 3rd and 2 on the 46-yard line. Right now, the Windsor offense still on the field, and they'll still stay on the field.
So Windsor going for it. 3rd and a short 2. For Nick Domofsky and the Windsor Lancers offense, 10 seconds on the play clock, and they haven't broken the huddle. 5 on the play clock for Windsor on 3rd and 2. And J.P. Cercelli calls timeout.
Not the execution that Windsor wanted there, as J.P. Cercelli has to burn a timeout early here in the second half. 7:34 left. And we'll see if Windsor still goes for it. I would suspect they will.
Field goal from here would be 53 yards into a slight wind. And it looks like they're going to go with their big unit here. 3rd and 2. So the Laurier defense only has to give up a yard. Windsor has to hope they get a big push, so they'll put Christopher John in at running back to try and pick it up. Nick Domofsky, first-year quarterback from Bell River, Ontario, played his minor football with the Essex Ravens. 6'2", 215 pounds. If they wanted to go with a quarterback keeper on 3rd and 2 for the Windsor Lancers, midway through this 3rd quarter, 7-6 lead for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Domofsky under center. He'll cut to his right. Flag on the play as Domofsky picks up the first down. And it looked like Laurier might have been lined up offside. So either way, Windsor will keep this drive alive.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there for Laurier, but they weren't lined up properly as Domofsky took the snap. We'll wait for Bickleborough. And that is the call. Offside on the Golden Hawks. Moves the sticks. First down, Windsor.
1st and 10 from the Laurier 41 for the Windsor Lancers. Eating up some time here in quarter number 3. As Domofsky has a fresh set of downs. They'll stay in with that heavy unit here. Javoni Cunningham in at receiver. Domofsky will hand this one off to Chris John. He'll drive forward. He got met hard in the hole. That'll bring up 2nd down here for the Windsor Lancers on the gain of 3. 2nd and 7.
Yeah, as they're trying to use that big package to create some space and use their bigger back here in Christopher John, who's had a nice series on this drive for Windsor, but only can pick up 2 that time as he got met head on.
They'll move the heavy unit off the field and go back to a more traditional look on 2nd and 8, so they only gave John 2 yards on the carry. For Nick Domofsky in this Windsor offense. Domofsky to pass, has pressure, steps up and gets met by Matt Caruso. Takes down Domofsky. 3rd and long for the Windsor Lancers.
Well, Matt Caruso just wraps up Domofsky, but it was the pressure off the edge from Johari Hastings that forced Domofsky to step up into the pocket where he was met head on by Matt Caruso, whose great season continues.
So a loss of 4 on the play for Windsor. And they'll have to punt this one away with Brady Lidster. So what looked like a promising drive for this Windsor offense stalls out after a big sack by Matt Caruso. Ethan Jordan, Jackson Stebbings deep to return for the Hawks. Lidster gets it away. High spiraling punt to Ethan Jordan. He'll bring it out of the end zone. Jordan cuts to the near side of the field and gets a block. Flag flies. Ethan Jordan with a step. Ethan Jordan Gets over midfield and chopped down at the Windsor 40. There is a flag down on the play, and it looks like it's going to come back against the Hawks. Tristan Miller threw a big block. I think they're going to get him for a block from behind. So a big return by Ethan Jordan taken off the board for Laurier.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's much like when these teams met in the regular season. An 82-yard punt return was taken away from Giovanni Cunningham.
So a blindside block against Tristan Miller. And with 5:46 to go in the third quarter, the Laurier Golden Hawks will start on offense deep in their own end. So the ball will be placed on the Laurier 5-yard line, and they're 105 yards away from the end zone, which they haven't found since the first drive of the game.
Well, this will be a good, resilient drive here from the Laurier Golden Hawks if they can march down the field and go that 105 yards and hit pay dirt. This Windsor defense has made life miserable for Taylor Elgersma, this Laurier offense, since that opening drive.
1st and 10 from their own 5 for Elgersma and the Laurier offense. Double tight and 3 receivers to his right. Quentin Scott in the backfield. Handoff to Scott. Into the pile, and he'll go down right at the original line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10. Max Harris got thrown down after the play.
And he got pushed down that time by Istvan Asibo-Dodzi. No penalty called.
We've seen a lot more of the chippiness after the whistle here in the second half. As Laurier has 2nd and 10 from their own 5-yard line. And a no gain here for Windsor would be huge to try and take their first lead of the game. Taylor Elgersma drops back to pass. Jace Atkinson can't make the catch. 3rd and 10 from their own 5 for the Hawks.
Atkinson couldn't hold on to that. Luckily, that ball did bounce and hit the ground. And a quick 2-and-out for Laurier, as we do have an injured Lancer on the field. That's Brenton McDougall.
No, it's Kaladia Muzin down in the end zone for the Windsor Lancers, the OUA leader in sacks in 2023 with 11 and a half. So back-to-back weeks, the Golden Hawks with a star pass rusher up against them. Last weekend with Tyson Hergott, who finished with 11, and then Kaladia Muzin, who had 11 and a half during the regular season.
Yeah, that Laurier defense or offensive line were able to keep Tyson Hergott in check, and so far Muzin's been held pretty quiet for the Windsor Lancers, and right now he's getting attended to with what looks like a lower body injury.
His defense was resilient on this drive. Laurier forced to a 2-and-out as a Muzin up to his feet and slowly walking off to the Windsor bench. So that could be a massive storyline in the final 19 minutes and 53 seconds of this second half, with the premier pass rusher in the OUA down with an injury late in the third quarter. Laurier with the ball at their own 5. Dawson Hodge starts 10 yards deep in his own end zone. A safety would give Windsor their first lead of the game. And Hodge will concede. And the Windsor Lancers take an 8-7 lead with 4:46 to go in quarter number 3. And for the first time today, Windsor is on top.
And really, since that opening drive that Laurier put the touchdown on the board, the momentum's been surging for Windsor, where they've been able to take over this game. Offensively, they just haven't been able to capitalize, but their defense has really been the most successful piece of their team this afternoon. 2 interceptions on Taylor Elgersma. They forced a fumble on Quentin Scott, and they've really just made it hard for Laurier since about the midway point of the second quarter to move the football.
And the Windsor Lancers get it back here as Domofsky will start at his own 35. So this could be a massive swing in this contest. And for the first time today, the Windsor Lancers take the lead. First lead of the year on the Golden Hawks as well. Domofsky out to the flat. That ball is caught by Joey Zorn. Ethan Bayfield makes the tackle. Gain of 3 will bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, good work by Bayfield. He anticipated that and is able to upend Joey Zorn before he can pick up any more progress.
Second and 7 here for the Windsor Lancers. Ball on their own 38-yard line. Line to gain is right at the 45. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Domofsky in shotgun with Chris John in the backfield. Domofsky fires this one off. That pass is caught by Martin right at the line to gain, and they'll give him the first down. Gain of 8, and the Lancers move the sticks.
Yeah, Evan Martin again. He's been a big go-to receiver when the Lancers want to move the sticks, and he makes another huge completion, another first down coming up here for Windsor as they're approaching getting into Hawks territory.
First and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Just over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and the Laurier Golden Hawks 7-1 in the regular season with a 69-0 win over Waterloo last weekend, down 8-7 to the Windsor Lancers. Domofsky hands this one off to Waby Mumbo, who goes down in the backfield. Jesse Wilkins and Ethan Gregorczyk making the play.
What a hit there by Gregorczyk, and his stock continues to rise as he blows up that play against the Lancers. With nowhere for Mumbo to go.
Loss of 3 brings up 2nd and 13 for Windsor. And Ethan Gregorczyk inserting himself into this one. 2nd and long for Domofsky in the Windsor offense. And a flag flies as the play clock hits 0. So a time count violation going against Windsor will force them back an extra 5 yards.
That's the second time that time clock has almost burned. This time it burns Windsor. Before the Lancers took a timeout. Now they go back another 5 yards.
Second and long. 2nd and 18 for Domofsky. This Windsor offense, who went on a long drive that led to a punt where Laurier was able to bring it out to their own 5, but led to the safety to give Windsor the lead. Domofsky to pass from Mumbo down the field. Can't make the catch over top of Onyemenum. Laurier forces a punt here from the Windsor offense as Waby Mumbo can't make the catch.
Well, it was a one-on-one matchup. You're running back out of the backfield in Mumbo against one of, if not the better, linebackers in the OUA and U Sports and IFE Onyemenum, but he showed well in good pass coverage, breaks that play up, and Windsor will punt.
Ethan Bayfield deep to return. He's had a good season returning for Laurier, which started week number 1 against the Queens Gales. Had a big return last week against Waterloo. As Lidser to boot this one away, and he'll kick it off to the field side, and Bayfield will catch it at his own 28. Ethan Bayfield follows a block, gets hit hard up at the 40 as a flag flies, and we'll await the call from the officials, but the Golden Hawks offense back onto the field, and they have to try and find a groove, which they haven't since the first drive of the game, Jason.
Yeah, they haven't been able to find a groove at all. Those turnovers stymied it, and maybe some confidence, maybe a little bit lacking, but this is a skilled group of guys that can really move the football. And they'll move back as well on a holding on that punt return from Bayfield.
So Tyreek Quason called for holding And Laurier will start at their own 25-yard line. Elgersma in shotgun. Handoff to Quentin Scott. He gets met 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 7 coming up for the Hawks.
Yeah, the Golden Hawks continue to try to get Quentin Scott to start things off on the right foot, but that time the hole clogged on him quickly, nowhere for him to go. They officially on the scoreboard spotted him a gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Elgersma in shotgun with 3 receivers to his left. One of them, Sebastian Parasolitis, the fullback. He motions into the formation, play action. Elgersma steps up, can't get away from pressure. Demir Tagoni makes the play, and Laurier has to punt it away.
Oh, this Windsor defense, it's a special one as Elgersma stepped up in the pocket. Looked like he was trying to find someone downfield or even scramble, but Demir Tagoni says, he just plows Elgersma down, and once again, a 2-and-out for Laurier.
So even with Kalani and Muzin on the bench, Windsor able to get home as Javoni Cunningham from his own 45. Makes a few men miss and gets up to the 53, where Windsor will take over in good field positioning here with 39 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and as well, good punt coverage by the Laurier Goldhawks. Cunningham made a nice little move to try to sneak into the inside. Picked up a little bit of extra yardage, but not the kind of chunk of change the Lancers were hoping for. But it's for Windsor, you know they want to sustain a drive themselves. They haven't hit the end zone all afternoon long, and really they have the momentum on their side.
Crown Plaza out-of-town scoreboard. Western Mustangs with a 19-17 lead on the Queens Gales late in the 3rd quarter. Domofsky in shotgun, 1st and 10 from his own 53. Handoff to Joey Zorn. He'll get up to the 55. They won't even give him the 55. He'll gain a yard, 2nd and 9.
That's just a good job by Brandon Omanua to clog up the hole and wrap up the lead running back for the Lancers in Joey Zorn, just a gain of 1. We also got an injured Lancer on the field.
Joey Zorn slow to get off the pile. An offensive lineman down for Windsor. Owen Mueller still on the turf. 6 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he's grabbing at his knee, which is obviously never a good sign. The starting left tackle for Windsor. Caleb Parker is the backup.
Still taking a look at Mueller down on the turf. We can say that Benjamin McJanet, who took that big hit in the 1st quarter, up and moving on the Windsor bench, was able to get up under his own power, which was great to see. This would be a loss for this Windsor offense. A big offensive lineman down.
Yeah, especially for the protection that this Windsor offensive line has given Nick Domofsky all game long, even giving him the opportunity to find that extra bit of space to scramble. It's been a good offensive line all season long, and this is a big blow that you don't want to see happen, especially at this point in the season.
Played in 5 games in 2019. 4th year from London, Ontario, went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School. 6'5", 285-pound left tackle. As it looks like he'll be helped up and helped off the field for the Windsor Lancers. As you mentioned, Jason, we'll go with Caleb Parker in at left tackle. Here with a 2nd and 9 coming up for this Windsor offense. Parker, the 6'4", 265-pound Michigan native.
That's a big responsibility, too, for Caleb Parker. He's got to block Brandon Omanua. And Owen Mueller's done a solid job all game long, and now as he gets helped off the field, it'll be Caleb Parker's responsibility. So we'll look for an update on Mueller's condition. But walking very gingerly back to the Windsor sideline.
2nd and 9 coming up for the Windsor Lancers. Barring a defensive penalty, you'd imagine this will be the last play of quarter number 3, with Windsor leading this one 8-7. Safety conceded by Dawson Hodge in this third quarter, the only scoring here in the second half so far. Domofsky in shotgun, 2nd and 9. Wavy Mumbo, the running back. Handoff to Mumbo. Cuts to the right side. Gregorczyk can't make the tackle, but Chris Haggart takes him down at the line of scrimmage. And Windsor will have to punt this one away when quarter number 4 begins. The number 9 Windsor Lancers with an 8-7 lead on the number 3 Laurier Golden Hawks. The fourth quarter is next. You're watching Laurier Golden Hawk football on OUA TV. Quarter number 4 set to begin here at University Stadium. The Windsor Lancers with an 8-7 lead on the Laurier Golden Hawks, the winner of this game to the Yates Cup. Windsor trying to make it to their first title game since 1975. The Golden Hawks trying to return to the Yates Cup for the first time since 2017 when they lost to the eventual Vanier Cup champion Western Mustangs. Lidster to punt this one away from midfield. Gets a spiraling punt down to Ethan Jordan at his own 15. Jordan cuts to the sideline and steps out of bounds at the 32. So the Golden Hawks offense will come back onto the field. Scored a touchdown on the opening drive. They mark him down at the 31. Scored a touchdown on the opening drive, 38-yard pitch and catch from Elgersma to Ethan Jordan. But this Laurier offense hasn't been able to do much of anything since.
No, but this is right now where they need to show their worth and have their best football in the fourth.
Elgersma drops back to pass on 1st and 10. Fires it off. Atkinson made the catch but fumbled it. Christmas recovers, and he steps out of bounds at the Laurier 24. Jace Atkinson made the catch. It got knocked loose. And Maceo Christmas has a 1st and 10 for the Lancers at the Laurier 25.
Well, Merry Christmas again for the Windsor Lancers. Christmas had an interception earlier today. He scoops up that fumble as Jace Atkinson can't hold on to it, and the Lancers have excellent field position to extend their lead.
First time we saw the Golden Hawks go to pass on 1st down in this second half.
And that offense looks a little gun shy right now with Taylor Elgersma.
How about this Windsor defense? 4 turnovers in the game. Handoff to Wavy Mumbo up the middle. Ethan Gregorczyk blows him up at the 20-yard line. He'll go down at the 19 on the gain of 6. 2nd and 4 coming up for Windsor.
Well, one of our keys to the game was obviously control the penalties and don't have too many turnovers, something that Laurier's been really good at in controlling turnovers. They don't make mistakes, but 4 turnovers today, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Windsor, though, this is their opportunity where they have to capitalize on this. 2nd and 4 coming up for the Lancers.
The Laurier 19-yard line. Handoff to Zorn. Cuts up the middle. Joey Zorn down to the 15. He'll get inside the 15 and pick up a first down.
So first down Windsor as Joey Zorn moves his feet, keeps fighting, and moves the chains for the Lancers. We have another injured Lancer on the field.
Yet to find the end zone in this game as Joey Zorn down on the turf, missed some time earlier this season. His return back to the Windsor lineup was in that Week 8 matchup against the Laurier Golden Hawks here at University Stadium. He's held to just 6 carries for 9 yards.
Yeah, he really struggled in that game to move the football, but he's found his form here this afternoon against the Laurier Golden Hawks. Moves the chains there as he'll get looked at by the Windsor training staff.
Zorn holding his arm as he heads off the field. 1st and 10, he picked it up at the Laurier 14-yard line after the Jace Atkinson fumble. So 2 Taylor Elgersma's interceptions and 2 fumbles. One from Quentin Scott, one from Jace Atkinson. And Windsor knocking on the door. They've yet to find the end zone so far today. 2 field goals and a safety have given them their 8 points. Liam Talbot lines up at running back. He'll take the handoff. Talbot gets down inside the 10 on the gain of 5. 2nd and 5 for the Lancers at the Laurier 9.
So 2nd and 5 coming up as Talbot that time 4th on the Windsor depth chart at running back. Gets his first carry of the afternoon. And it's a 2nd and medium coming up here as Windsor is knocking on the door trying to get their first touchdown of the game.
Windsor pulled out a tight one last week against the Carleton Ravens, 14-11. Golden Hawks have had 3 wins in 1-possession games. They've also lost one to the Western Mustangs. Domofsky to throw, keeps it himself. Nick Domofsky sidesteps, touchdown! The freshman quarterback finds the end zone for the first time today for the Windsor Lancers with 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Huge touchdown, and we talked about what Domofsky brings to the table is his ability to run. There was a huge hole opened by the Windsor offensive line. Domofsky calls his own number, bounces off a couple tackles, breaks the plane, and gets the touchdown. A massive score for the Lancers with 12 minutes to go as the Lancers will go for the
Gain of 15 officially as they mark him down at the 21. Double tight for Taylor Elgersma with 3 receivers to his left. Handoff to Quentin Scott. Bounces it to the outside, and he gets dragged out of bounds right at the original line of scrimmage. Second down for the Hawks.
That was a good tackle that time by Estevan Acebo-Dante, grabbing the hand there of Quentin Scott, wrestling him to the ground. And Scott loses a yard officially. It'll be 2nd and 11 coming up here for Laurier.
So a loss of 1 for Quentin Scott on the run. 2nd and 11 here for the Hawks on the Windsor 22-yard line. 9:45 to go in the 4th quarter. Laurier hasn't found the end zone since their first drive of the game. Elgersma to pass. Elgersma finds Ethan Jordan, and he picks up the first down inside the 10.
Well, when you're struggling offensively through the air, Elgersma is going to go to his go-to target, and Ethan Jordan. He scored the opening touchdown, and now Jordan starting to find a significant part of this offense.
First and goal from the 8-yard line for the Hawks. Elgersma in shotgun with Quentin Scott in the backfield. 4 receivers to his left. Elgersma to pass. Scott out of the backfield, turns the corner, and he is down at the 1-yard line. They mark him just short. They'll put him down on the 2.
And we have an injured Lancer out of bounds. Already the Windsor training staff hops on him. Chase Reed's the injured Lancer.
Tanner Elson was slow to get up as well after the play for the Hawks. So 2nd and goal from the 2 as Elson is being taken a look at by his teammates. It looks like he'll stay on the field. It's Chase Reed, the linebacker, down out of bounds at the goal line on the near side on the Windsor bench. You'd imagine for Laurier this is 3-down territory to try and punch this one in.
Yeah, time's starting to be the enemy here in this game as well. 8:55, well, so still a bit of time, but it is ticking away. So yeah, I would expect 3-down territory here.
JP Cercelli having a conversation with the officials. Tanner Elson was slow to get up, but did get up after they blew the play down for Chase Reed, injured at the sideline. But Elson will stay in the game. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line for the Laurier Golden Hawks. 8:55 to go in the 4th quarter. A 14-7 lead for the Windsor Lancers. Elgersma lines up under center. Quentin Scott's the running back.
And Windsor took a timeout.
JP Cercelli forced to burn one of his timeouts here. They had a substitution issue after Chase Reed went down.
So how tight this game's getting, Windsor's down to 1 timeout. They had to burn a timeout early in the 2nd half because of the play clock running down, and then here because of a personnel issue. So just a little bit of sloppiness on both sides of the ball from Windsor leaves them with 1 timeout.
Golden Hawks trying to tie this one up. You think back to that high snap on the PAT that could come into effect. Dawson Hodge missing a 35-yarder at the end of the first half. Taylor Elgersma under center. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line for the Laurier Golden Hawks. 6'6", 220 under center. The 18-year-old Cody Blackshaw down for the Golden Hawks. Handoff to Quentin Scott. He gets swallowed up short of the line of scrimmage. A loss of 1, and that brings up 3rd and goal. That big defensive line getting home. Mufta Ajeli, the reigning defensive player of the week across the country.
He blew that play up. Gets in on Quentin Scott. It's actually a slight loss. Ball's on the 4. 3rd and 4 here. Laurier keeps the offense on the field, as we said, 3 down territory.
Shotgun here for Taylor Elgersma. 9 rushing touchdowns between the regular season and the postseason for the Laurier quarterback. He'll drop back to pass. Has pressure, gets away from Amuzon. Elgersma to the end zone. Touchdown! Quentin Scott, the catch, and the Golden Hawks are a point away from tying it.
Just a great job there by Taylor Elgersma to roll out, felt the pressure from the Windsor defensive line, and no one able to pick up Quentin Scott wide open in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Laurier.
Everybody thought Taylor Elgersma was going to run it. Quentin Scott opened in the end zone, and Dawson Hodge on to attempt the extra point. Jason McGugan to snap, Jackson Stebbings to hold. Ball down, up and through, and we are tied at 14 with 8:04 to go in the fourth quarter. Buckle up, folks.
Oh, we got ourselves a good one here. We told you it'd be a wild finish to the end, and that's living up to the hype.
So Dawson Hodge will have to kick this one away, and Windsor will get it back. Laurier marches down the field and ties this game at 14 with 8:04 to go in the fourth quarter, and their offense finally finds some life, Jason.
And what a just job by this Laurier offense, where they finally really got punched in the mouth after Nick Domovsky ran that football into the end zone. Windsor misses the PAT, and it really just seemed to awaken this Laurier offense, which really since the opening drive has done nothing at all here this afternoon. And then they move the football down the field of some penalties against Windsor, and on 3rd and 4, the Laurier Golden Hawks find Quentin Scott in the back of the end zone. We're tied at 14. Well, you knew this would be an entertaining one, and it has lived up to the hype.
Canadian University football at its finest. Crown Plaza out-of-town scoreboard. The Laval Rouge et Or and Concordia Stingers in the RSEQ going to overtime, tied at 24. Laval, who dropped 2 in the regular season to Montreal. Concordia, who upset Montreal in the last week of the regular season to hand them their first loss of the year.
Wouldn't that be something if Concordia can punch their ticket to the UTEC Bowl next week?
The Dunsmore Cup, we haven't had a non-Laval Montreal matchup, as a moonshot kick from Hodge bounces down, and it goes out of bounds after Windsor knocked it out. Note, they'll say it went out of bounds on its own, so Windsor will take over at their own 40.
Yes, my apologies, Dunsmore. I'm jumping the weeks here a little bit, Jack, but I'm just so excited, I guess, how this game's been going. But yeah, it also shows just how tight the parity has been in all of U Sports football.
So Windsor will have 1st and 10 from their own 40. Laurier trying to moonshot kick to either recover it or knock it out of bounds. But they'll say it went out of bounds on its own. 8:04 to go in the fourth quarter. A 14-14 game between the number 9 Windsor Lancers and the number 3 Laurier Golden Hawks. Nick Domovsky hands this one off to Waby Mumbo. Finds a crease, spins away from Hastings, and gets taken down by Nico McCarthy on the gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
Once again, Mumbo, he's starting to get a little bit more carries here in the second half. Shows off a nice spin move, kept driving forward, and officially on the scoreboard, it's 2nd and 2, so a gain of 8 there for Mumbo.
Important second down here. Windsor trying to move the sticks and keep their offense on the field. Nick Domovsky scored a rushing touchdown on their last drive. He lines up in shotgun. Came in relief of Danny Skelton in the third quarter last week against the Carleton Ravens. Handoff to Chris John. Cuts to his right. He'll drive forward and will pick up a first down for the Lancers, as 20 of the 24 players on the field were involved in that tackle.
Yeah, somehow John was able to get it. It looked like he ran right into where everyone was, but used his big frame to push forward and get enough. Get those 2 yards needed. First down on Windsor.
Gain of 3 on the play for Chris John, the big running back for the Lancers. Listed at 5'10", 225 pounds. He stays in behind Nick Domofsky. 1st and 10 from their own 51 for Windsor. Play action. Domofsky fires down the field for Martin. Incomplete. Malik Cote in coverage.
Good coverage there by Malik Cote Azor as he covered his man very tightly. Good work by him as Evan Martin thought he had a step, but falls incomplete.
So 2nd and long here for the Windsor Lancers from their own 51. 6:05 to go in the 4th quarter with the clock winding down in this 14-14 game. Winner to the Yates Cup next weekend. Play clock at 3. Play clock hits 0, and they'll be pushed back 5 yards on the delay of game.
The Lancers have had a lot of issues with this play clock here, and that's something that cannot happen, especially under 6 to go here in the 4th quarter.
So, Jason, I want to go back to a point you made earlier. Windsor doesn't have any timeouts. You only get 2.
Right.
So they burned both their timeouts, one on the Laurier 2nd and goal from the 2, and one on the short yardage in the 3rd quarter. So no chance to stop the clock there. 2nd and 15 for the Lancers from their own 46. Empty set for Domofsky. Ify on Yemenum gets a hand on it.
Right up the gut, it's Ify on Yemenum. Your big-time players need to make big-time plays in a big-time game, and on Yemenum gets his hand on it. 3rd and 15, Lancers will punt.
3rd and long here for the Lancers, and Brady Lidster has to boot this one away to Ethan Jordan. After the time count violation, Laurier brought the pressure, and Ify on Yemenum making the play, the 5th-year linebacker. Lidster to punt. Boots it away. Fluttering kick down at the Laurier 27. And Ethan Jordan picks it up. No yards penalty coming up against Windsor as Jordan cuts to the far sideline. Ethan Jordan gets a block, and he'll step out at midfield.
Those should be no yards penalties against Windsor, but what a job by Jordan. Revert one way and go the other. Pick up a lot of change.
Kevin Mickelbro, the official, giving the call here. Lucas Custack, the long snapper, with the no-yard penalty. So Ethan Jordan with a return of 30 yards, plus the extra 5 from the no yards, sets Laurier up 1st and 10 at the Windsor 49. Taylor Elgersma in shotgun with Quentin Scott. Elgersma swings it out to Scott, makes the catch, stays on his feet. Quentin Scott gains 5 and steps out of bounds.
Great job by Scott to stay on his feet as Jason Rashadi thought he had him wrapped up, but was able to bounce off and pick up those 3 yards instead of a loss, which is very important with 5 minutes to go.
Jason Rashadi, the sure-handed tackler for this Windsor defense. They only gave him 3, so 2nd and 7 here for the Golden Hawks. Elgersma, draw play to Quentin Scott, gets a block from Blackshaw, and he picks up a 1st down. Down at the Windsor 35.
Perfect execution on the draw play. Windsor brought the house towards Elgersma. A C opened up, and Quentin Scott able to run for it and pick up the 1st down. As Scott will check off, Tanner Nelms coming in for the Golden Hawks in the backfield.
4:15 to go in the fourth quarter. 14-14 game. Laurier at the Windsor 34. 1st and 10 for Taylor Elgersma with Tanner Nelms in the backfield. Elgersma to pass. Fires it off for Ethan Jordan, makes the catch. Gain of 5. 2nd and 5 coming up for the Hawks. As Cody Blackshaw is slow to get up to his feet. The 18-year-old center turned 18 in August, right before training camp. We talked about it last week, Jason. This offense really started to click when he came in and anchored down the center position in week 3 against the Guelph Griffins.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's when the offensive explosion started for this Laurier offense, and they really haven't looked back since, other than here in the OUA semifinal against Windsor.
2nd and 4 on the gain of 6 from Ethan Jordan. Elgersma in shotgun. Handoff to Nelms up the middle. Cuts forward down at the 24. That will be close to the line to gain. Kevin Mickelbro will take a look and move the sticks on the 4-yard carry from Tanner Nelms.
Good job by Nelms to just plunge forward and get the nose of the football over the line to gain. 1st down, Golden Hawks.
First and 10. This should be the last play before the 3-minute warning of the second half. Elgersma in shotgun. Handoff to Nelms. Follows Sebastian Parasolitis, and Mufta Jelly takes him down after a gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
Yeah, Jelly got in there and was able to wrap up Nelms and drive him down. Gain of 3 as we've hit the 3-minute warning.
Remember, Windsor with no timeouts here. Laurier with 2. Elgersma in shotgun on 2nd and long. This would be a 29-yard attempt down the middle of the field for Dawson Hodge if the Golden Hawks don't get it. Elgersma to pass. Elgersma with time. Caught! Touchdown! Raiden Thorne, and the Golden Hawks take the lead with 2:44 to go in the game.
What composure for Taylor Elgersma in a game where not a lot has gone right. He stands in the pocket, he faces adversity in the face, and he strikes Raiden Thorne for the go-ahead touchdown for the Golden Hawks. Extra point coming, but Laurier has a lead with 2:44 left.
Dawson Hodge on for the extra point. And it's good. The Golden Hawks with a 21-14 lead with 2:44 to go in the fourth quarter.
Huge drive once again for the Laurier Golden Hawks. This offense can turn it on at some points, and right now they've turned it on at the most pivotal point of the game. They are able to hit Raiden Thorne for a touchdown, 2nd touchdown pass of the game for Taylor Elgersma. And 2:44 left. Windsor's going to do everything they can to march down the field and tie this game up.
Crown Plaza out-of-town scoreboard. Western Mustangs with a 33-20 lead over the Queen's Gales in London. That's the other OUA semifinal. Winner of that game playing the winner of this game in the Yates Cup next weekend. Windsor took a 14-7 lead early in the fourth quarter. Laurier's responded with back-to-back touchdown drives and have a 7-point advantage with under 3 minutes to go. Hodge, high sky kick, bounces out of bounds, and Windsor will start at their own 40. They don't want to kick off to Waby Mumbo or Javoni Cunningham, so the Golden Hawks are content with Windsor starting at their own 40 instead of the explosive opportunity of the Windsor returners.
As we know, especially we've talked about Javoni Cunningham, an excellent special teams player. He's barely made an impact today. Has really had no returns, or when he has, he's been swarmed on. But Laurier, they don't want to take their chances here. Ball's on the 40. Let's see if that Laurier defense can step up one more time.
2:43 to go in the fourth quarter. 21-14, the number 3 Laurier Golden Hawks leading the number 9 Windsor Lancers. Jack Moore, Jason Hagholm with you on OUA TV. Handoff to Chris John up the middle, and he gets met by some Hawks after the gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
So gain of 4 there for John as he tries to plunge forward as the Golden Hawk defense wraps up, and Luke Brubaker slow to get up. As we said before, he's on a bit of a snap count, but he looks to be okay and will stay in there. You need your big players on defense right now. It's closing time for the Golden Hawks defense.
Hasn't put up the stats that a lot of people expected from him. He does draw a lot of double teams and triple teams so far this year, but he's made some important plays in big time moments. 2nd and 6 here for the Windsor Lancers from their own 44. Domofsky fires this one out. That pass is caught. Ginn stiff arms Bayfield across the 55 into Laurier territory. Gain of 11 yards for the Windsor Lancers.
Huge first down there for Windsor as they're able to hit Colby Ginn, who we said before was the leading receiver last week against Carleton. He's stepping up in a big moment, able to get to the sidelines out of bounds. Huge first down for the Lancers.
1st and 10 from the Laurier 53. For Nick Domofsky, who has 5 on the play clock. Play action to John. Domofsky fires it off and gets caught short of the line to gain by 2 yards on the 8-yard reception. And it's 2nd down and short for the Windsor Lancers.
Daniel Hector on the catch there for Windsor, and he's able to pick up a nice bit of extra yards to make it a 2nd and short, 2nd and 2 coming up here for Windsor.
2:05 and counting here at University Stadium. Windsor needs a touchdown to tie it. Domofsky in shotgun. Handoff to Waby Mumbo. Bounces it to the outside. He gets taken down right at the line to gain. The spot's important here.
Yeah, we'll see.
And it is going to be a first down for the Windsor Lancers with an injured Hawk on the field.
Yeah, we'll see who's. So it's Mumbo who's hurt.
Mumbo's down on the near sideline. There's a Golden Hawk down in the middle of the field.
Can't tell who's injured for Laurier.
They are going to give Windsor, they haven't moved the sticks yet, as Waby Mumbo slow to get up. We saw Joey Zorn come off earlier in the game. He's on the sideline with his helmet off. Chris John and Liam Talbot, the other running backs for the Windsor Lancers. And it looks like Brandon Omanua for the Laurier Golden Hawks.
Yeah, and his helmet's nowhere to be found right now as he's getting looked at by the training staff as he's going to pop up, which is great to see.
So Waby Mumbo gets up on the Windsor sideline. Brandon Omanua walking off to the Laurier sideline with 1:48 to go in the fourth quarter. And it will be a 1st and 10 for the Windsor Lancers from the Laurier 43. Nick Domofsky got the start after coming in relief and leading the Windsor Lancers to victory last week against the Carleton Ravens. Can he complete the comeback here against Laurier? He'll roll to his right, now steps up and fires down the field for Martin. Incomplete! Malik Cote in coverage.
Great coverage by Malik Cote Azor as he was on Evan Martin. Evan Martin's been the guy they're trying to get downfield, but Cote Azor breaks it up. 2nd and 10 coming up for Windsor.
Domofsky started to look to his right, looked over the middle. Thought he had Evan Martin, but Malik Cote in good coverage on the back hip, gets his hand in there. and knocks it down. 98 seconds to go in the game. 21-14 Laurier leading the Windsor Lancers. A spot in the Yates Cup on the line. Windsor trying to get back to the conference championship for the first time since 1975. Domofsky steps up, gets away from Brubaker. Domofsky taken down at the 35. 2 yards shy of the line to gain. Third down coming up for Windsor.
Third and short, but Domofsky makes something out of nothing. That should have been a loss of 5 or 6. Steps up, calls his own number. He's short of the first down, but a 3rd and 2 coming up. A massive moment in the football game.
Clock will start on Kevin Mickelbro's whistle. 3rd and 2 here at University Stadium. From the Laurier 35. And a flag against the Windsor Lancers for too many in the formation.
Unbelievable. You cannot have that happen if you're Windsor. They didn't have timeout, so they couldn't call to get the right personnel on.
Colby Ginn, slow to run off the field. He'll check back in for Daniel Hector. 3rd and 7 from the Laurier 40.
Huge loss of 5 yards there from Windsor. This could be the ball game.
Windsor running Nick Reyes on late. 3rd and 7. 10 on the play clock for Domofsky. Domofsky to pass. Rolls to his right. Being chased down by Brubaker. Gets it off to John. Chopped down. Where's the spot? Right at the line to gain. And they might have to measure this. And they will.
Call the chains. Chain gangs coming on to determine if it's a turnover on downs or if Windsor's still alive.
Chris John got taken down at the 33. That was the line to gain. And now a chain and a post to determine the fate of the Windsor football season. First down, Windsor.
Just by the nose of the football, Chris John gets enough to move the change. Windsor still has life.
1st and 10 from the Laurier 33 with 1:16 to go in the 4th quarter. Nick Domofsky rolled out of the pocket on 3rd and 7. Found Chris John, who got 7 yards and an inch to keep the game alive for Windsor. Handoff to John up the middle. Gets swallowed up in the pile at the 30 on the gain of 3. 2nd and 7 coming up for Windsor.
Under a minute to go, officially 57 seconds remaining. Gain of 2 there from John. It's going to be 3 down territory, obviously, the rest of the way here for the Lancers.
They marked him down at the 31, so 2nd and 8 as Domofsky in shotgun. 10 on the play clock for the Lancers. Domofsky to pass. Looks to his left for the end zone. He has Evan Martin. Can't make the catch. Pass interference against the Hawks. Ethan Bayfield in coverage. Evan Martin gets interfered with. 15-yard penalty, and it'll be 1st and 10 on the Laurier 15.
Yeah, Bayfield hadn't been able to turn. We do have an injured Lancer on the field.
So Domofsky was looking for Evan Martin. Ethan Bayfield called for pass interference. So they'll spot this one down at the 16. And a 1st and 10 for Windsor with an injured player on the field for the Lancers. 39 seconds to go in a 7-point game.
That's a tough one there for Bayfield, but you got to turn and look for the ball. His back was he was basically swarming all over Evan Martin, who's been the man that the Lancers trying to been getting downfield. Costly penalty there. First down coming here for Windsor.
Connor Holborn off the field for the Lancers. 1st and 10 from the Laurier 16. No timeouts for Windsor with 39 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. Clock stops after every down, whether inbounds or out of bounds. There is an untimed down if the ball is down before the clock hits 0. Domofsky in shotgun with Wavy Mumbo in the backfield. Domofsky to pass, pressure, steps up in the pocket and goes down. Abraham Odiasi wrestles down Nick Domofsky. 2nd and long here for the Lancers.
Huge tackle there by Odiasi. As Domofsky tried to step up, Odiasi said, 32 seconds remain.
And Colby Ginn goes offside. 2nd and 16 coming up for the Lancers.
Just some costly penalties that the Lancers have had. They had too many men on the field before, but they're able to convert that on a 3rd down from a 3rd and 2 to a 3rd and 7. This is going to be a 2nd and 16 with the ball at the Laurier 22. 28 seconds left.
Clock won't start until the ball is snapped, as Domofsky gets the call from the sideline and runs into the huddle. Loud University Stadium here in Waterloo. The Laurier Golden Hawks trying to advance to the Yates Cup for the first time since 2017. 2nd and 16. Domofsky quickly out for Wavy Mumbo. Forced inside. Mumbo gets a block, and he's in! Touchdown! There's a flag on the play.
There is a flag. There was a clear hold there as Mumbo tried to turn the corner.
Flag comes out as Wavy Mumbo is on the 5 and on his way into the end zone. And Kevin Mickelbro will give us the call. Holding against the Lancers prior to the yards gained. So it'll be 2nd and even longer here as J.P. Cercelli not happy with the call.
Absolutely livid at the call, but can definitely see the case. Loss of 10, 2nd and 26 for Windsor.
21 seconds to go in the game. 21-14 Laurier, 10 on the play clock for the Lancers. Nick Domofsky in shotgun with Wavy Mumbo. 5 to snap it. Domofsky to pass. Domofsky gets it away. Incomplete. Domofsky got hit as he threw by Luke Brubaker. Jahari Hastings couldn't intercept it in the end zone. 3rd and 26 with 16 seconds to go.
This is the ball game, and there's Luke Brubaker trying to be the closer that he has been so many times this season for Laurier. Remember in week 2 when Carlton was here, he had a sack to close the show, and now he's trying to close it here in the OUA semifinal.
He had a big one in week 1 against the Queens Gales as well on that final Queens drive where they missed the field goal and Ethan Bayfield returned it out of the end zone. 16 seconds to go in the Windsor season on the line. 3rd and 26 for Nick Domofsky and the Windsor Lancers. Can they get the first down? Domofsky for the end zone. Incomplete! Laurier's gonna win it!
And guess who was in on that? Jahari Hastings, the transfer from Simon Fraser, breaks it up, knocks it out of the hands of Colby Ginn, and Laurier will take over on downs with 9 seconds left. The Golden Hawks will go to the Yates Cup for the first time since 2017.
2 surgical drives from Taylor Elgersma in the 4th quarter. a passing touchdown to Quinn Scott, and a passing touchdown to Raiden Thorne. And the Laurier Golden Hawks will play for the OUA crown in 2023. 2 knees will do it. And the number 3 team in the nation will move on to the Yates Cup next weekend. Taylor Elgersma to take the knee as the clock hits 0. Laurier playing for OUA Gold next weekend in the Yates Cup. The Golden Hawks hold on and come back in the fourth quarter against the Windsor Lancers, who gave Laurier everything they had.
Yeah, give credit to Windsor. They held an offense that can put up points at will to just 21 points, where the Golden Hawks had to earn those on their last 2 drives of the game. This Windsor defense came to play. Nick Domofsky gets the start, and he was sensational. But some penalties costly late, and really Taylor Elgersma stepping up when the Golden Hawks need to will punch the Golden Hawks ticket back to the Yates Cup for the first time since 2017.
Crown Plaza out-of-town scoreboard. Out-of-town score, the Western Mustangs 40, the Queens Gales 20. Laurier going to the Yates Cup next weekend to play the Western Mustangs in a rematch of that Week 9 contest. And Laurier with a chance at redemption in the OUA championship game next weekend.
Yeah, you know they're definitely primed for that. Realize some of the mistakes they made. This is a team that feels they can go to Western and beat Western on their field, much like they did in 2016 to win the Yates Cup.
The Laurier Golden Hawks come back in the fourth quarter. The offense couldn't get anything going in the first 3 quarters aside from the first drive. And Taylor Elgersma leads 2 touchdown passing drives in quarter number 4 to win it for the Hawks. 21-14 the final. Laurier's 9th win of the season, and they're playing for OUA Gold next weekend. We've had a great season here at University Stadium for Laurier Golden Hawk home games. For Jason Hagholm, technical producer Phil Dolmage, and our entire crew here at Laurier Athletics, I'm Jack Moore saying good night from University Stadium. The Golden